It's the start of a whole new season for the CU Buffs. The Big 8 season. After 2 tough non-conference losses, the Buffs must focus on the league title and the Orange Bowl. Missouri comes to Boulder for the first test. We'll find out if Colorado's defensive changes will make a difference as the Buffs try and tame the Tigers and get back on the winning track. CU and Mizzou, the Big 8 opener. It's next.
Sports presents CU Buffaloes football. Live from Folsom Field in Boulder, it's the University of Missouri Tigers versus the University of Colorado Buffaloes.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to a chilly Folsom Field in Boulder. It's the first conference game for both CU and the Missouri Tigers. I'm Les Shapiro along with Dave Logan. And Dave, the talk all over Boulder this week, defense, putting an emphasis on the defensive side of the ball. It looks like the Buffs are hungry to make amends.
Well, I would guess they better be hungry. They have been starved for the last couple of weeks in terms of success they've had defensively. You look at the Big 8 stats, they are virtually last in every category. We haven't seen that since they used to wear blue jerseys here back in the early 80s. But you'll see a few changes this afternoon on the defensive side of the football for Colorado. Starting up front, a couple of bigger, stronger defensive ends. One, Shannon Clavel. He has played some nose this year. He's going to start at one of the defensive ends along with Darius Holland, who's about 285. Jeff Bruner will start at nose tackle. He was a starter there last year. And Chris Hudson will move from corner to free safety. He is the best cover guy they have, but also the best athlete in the secondary, and Hudson really makes a lot of things happen. They think he'll make more happen from the middle of the field.
One other change, freshman redshirt Matt Russell moves into a starting linebacker position on the inside. On the other side of the field, Missouri is best known, this year at least, for its defense.
Well, that's what they're known for, and we realize that they gave up 73 points against Texas A&M. Darrell Major is the leading tackler for Missouri. Big, strong outside linebacker, about 240. They feel like they've got better quickness this year on the Missouri defense. Not a lot of size they'll have to cover this afternoon.
Could be a milestone day for CU head coach Bill McCartney. With one more win, he ties the legendary Fred Folsom at the top of the CU coaching win list.
Well, there's a couple of coaches apparently headed in opposite directions. McCartney has got things turned around here in Boulder. Bob Stoll is really under a lot of fire in Columbia, Missouri. Dan Devine, the athletic director, is in attendance here this afternoon. There are many that think he has got to have an upset win on the road to save his job this year.
Stoll is in the 5th year of a 5-year contract. Dave and I are going to get our top coats on, and we'll be right back for the kickoff between CU and Mizzou.
Today's game is brought to you by Pizza Hut, by Zima, by your Lincoln Mercury dealers, by Mile High Greyhound Park, by First Federal Bank, and by your optics.
Pizza Hut has gone Hollywood. With a blockbuster Bigfoot movie deal. Now, every time you buy a Bigfoot pizza, you get a coupon for 1 free movie rental to Blockbuster with any other movie rental. So make it a Blockbuster night with Bigfoot.
My mother thanks you. My father thanks you. My plastic surgeon thanks you.
It's a Blockbuster deal from Pizza Hut.
They say to get ahead, it's not what you know, but who you know. Well, I do know this. If you want to get a great deal on a great car, you should get to know your Lincoln Mercury dealer.
At Come Lincoln Mercury, you'll find Mercury Tracer priced at only $99.93. Tracer offers 5-passenger comfort and lots of features. With 85 to choose from, we've got one for you. Come Lincoln Mercury, driven to satisfy since 1919.
Well, now you know. See your Denver Lincoln Mercury dealer.
See Come Lincoln Mercury, Inglewood today.
The Timberline, a special breed of restaurant at Mile High Greyhound Park. The best seats in the house. The Timberline Clubhouse Restaurant. Dog days are here. Mile High Greyhound Park, 62nd and Colorado Boulevard.
Just a few minutes from kickoff between CU and Missouri. This game is sold out, and it looks like everybody's waiting until the last minute to file into this stadium. It is fairly cold right now in Boulder, Colorado. Let's show you how cold. Right now, the temperature 33 degrees. The humidity a very high 96%. There is a dampness in the air, and the wind very mild out of the southeast at 3 miles an hour. The series record between these two teams reads like this. Missouri leads overall, winning 33 of 57 games, but recently CU has been dominant. The Buffs have won the last 8, and they've won them big by an average score of 34-10. Right now, let's go down to the field. Our Mark McIntosh is standing by with a report from the sidelines. Mark?
Thanks a lot, guys. I tell you, down here on the field, a little chilly here at Folsom Field. Earlier, Brian Cabral, the CU linebackers coach, went by, and he said, this is bear weather. He used to play for the Chicago Bears. A lot of cold days up at Soldier Field. It'll be interesting to see how both offenses, both teams love to throw the football. The ball's going to be wet. The ball's going to be hard. It's cold down here. It'll be interesting to see if these wide receivers can hold on to the football. Cordell Stewart and Jeff Handy both have very powerful arms. It could be a factor, this cold weather down here today. Really the first cold day of the year. Back up to you guys.
One other thing to worry about from a weather standpoint as we look out over Boulder from our perch atop Folsom Field, we see there's quite a bit of fog over this city. Let's hope it doesn't roll into the stadium, because that would hinder the performance even more so. It's been somewhat of a tradition recently for these two teams to open the conference season against each other. It's been that way 8 of the last 10 years. Last week, the CU Buffs and head coach Bill McCartney lost 35-29 to third-ranked Miami in a fight-marred game. 12 players were thrown out, and that overshadowed CU's near comeback. They were down 26-6 at one point, 12 yards away from taking the lead late in the game, but a penalty cost the Buffs dearly, and they ended up losing by 6. As for Mizzou, last week they were at home. They had a chance to beat Southern Methodist University, but the Tigers had a field goal block with 15 seconds to play. They finished in a tie, and here comes Ralphie. Well, the Missouri Tigers were smart. They didn't come onto the field until Ralphie had completed her run. That's 1,300 pounds of buffalo coming at you at about 25 miles an hour. Right now, the captain's at midfield for the coin toss.
Has elected to the third.
CU wins the toss and will let Missouri decide on what it wants to do for the opening kickoff.
I think an interesting call there by Bill McCartney, and when you start to play poorly on either side of the football, you lose a little bit of your confidence each and every week. Bill McCartney right there winning the toss and saying, hey, we're going to put our defense on the field first. I think a good move by head coach trying to inspire his team to get off to a good start as we open the Big 8 Conference.
Well, that is a very strong statement by the Buffs right there. And here come the Tigers, led by head coach Bob Stoll. As Dave said earlier, he is under fire and needs a couple of big wins in this Big 8 season, possibly to save his job. In the polls, well, Missouri is nowhere to be seen. However, CU is ranked 20th, and a lot of people felt it was odd that despite not playing last weekend, the Buffs dropped one notch in the Associated Press poll from 19 to 20. On the plus side, the Buffs have been ranked for 72 straight weeks. It's going to be a little difficult keeping warm. You can see the Buffs jumping around there on the field. It's 33 degrees, at least that's what the thermometer says, but it does feel quite a bit chillier.
Now, what's Michael Westbrook got his shirt rolled up over his stomach for? Talk about making statements. I believe I'd roll that down and put the long johns on.
Well, you can see that's what most of the people in the stands have done. They've got the heavy weather wear on today. CU comes into this ball game with a 2-2 record, having lost its last 2 games, heartbreakers, to the University of Miami and Stanford University. Missouri comes in with a 1-2-1 record. And I wonder how Bill McCartney feels whenever he has to go against Missouri, because this university is his alma mater. He was a center at Missouri back when they wore leather helmets and 1-bar face masks.
Well, I think he roots for Missouri each and every week unless they play his Buffs.
So CU getting ready to kick off to the Missouri Tigers. Mitch Berger will be doing the duty for CU. And back to return the kick for Mizzou will be Clayton Baker and Rosetnew Jenkins. It's good. Mitch Berger with that strong leg. And there are Baker and Jenkins. Here comes the kickoff to the Big 8 season. This is Jenkins. Has a hole up the middle. Finally brought down at the 30-yard line. The tackle made by Maurice Enriquez. Jeff Handy is the quarterback for the Missouri Tigers. He's had some problems of late. We'll see if he can get on track. The running backs are Boyd and Washington. The wide receivers, Salee and Holly, 2 pretty good ones, and the tight end, Ofadale. The offensive line is led by Mike Badowski at right guard. 1st and 10 for the Missouri Tigers at their own 30-yard line. And they come out running. This is Washington, and he is thrown for a 4-yard loss by linebacker Sam Rogers. The CU defense lines up like this, and it is different this week. 5 changes in the starting defensive lineup. On the front 7. We've got Clavel, Bruner, and Holland, Rogers, Johnson, Russell, and the All-American candidate Woolfolk at linebacker. The defensive backs, a little switching up back here. Dwayne Davis and Chris Hudson have switched positions. Davis going to corner and Hudson going to free safety, where he was the all-Big 8 free safety last year. 2nd and 15 for Mizzou at the 25. Again, Washington. This time stopped very quickly by the defensive end, Darius Holland.
And again, one of the main reasons that Bill McCartney wanted to change the lineup up front, he wanted some bigger folks. He didn't feel like they were getting off the blocks as they should. Darius Holland is 285 pounds. You can see just manhandles, in that case, Michael Washington, the lead back, and takes him to the ground.
Washington, no small item either. He is a fullback, 270 pounds. He falls forward. He gains 3 yards automatically. It's 3rd and 13 for Mizzou. Handy's first pass of the day complete. And up across the 30-yard line goes the running back, Greg Smith. Jeff Bruner makes the tackle.
Well, you talk about great hustle. Jeff Bruner inserted for the first time in the starting lineup at nose. Reads the screen and runs it down from behind. Bruner, of course, suffered that severe knee injury last year. Actually tried himself at offensive line during the course of spring practice, but then went back to the defensive side. That's his best side.
It's 3 and out for Mizzou. They'll have to punt for the first time today, and Kyle Pooler is the punter. Charles Johnson back to field the punt for CU. Pooler gets off a wobbler. He shanks it to the right, and it goes out of bounds. A little scuffle on the sideline. CU and Cordell Stewart at quarterback will have pretty good field position for their first time with the ball. The running backs behind Stewart, well, there will be one to start out this game, and that'll be James Hill instead of Lamont Warren. The receivers are Westbrook and Johnson, the All-American candidates. The tight ends are Embry and Christian Fourier. And your offensive line from left to right reads Birdie, Irwin, the center, Stoltenberg, Hammond, and Derek West. CU with the ball at its own 35. Cordell comes out throwing deep, and he has Westbrook open, but overthrows Michael along the far sideline. The Missouri defense, the front seven, Walls, Martin, Murray, and Lyle. They play a 4-3. The three linebackers are Major and McDonald, a pretty good tandem, along with Javon Lenhart. And the defensive backs for Mizzou are Madison, McIntosh, Andre White, and Jason Oliver. It's 2nd and 10 for the Buffs. We've just started this ball game. The Buffs with the ball at their own 35. This is Lamont Warren. Has room on the left side, close to first down yardage. Darrell Major, the tackle.
Well, we've talked a lot about the CU defense and the problems they have had, but you take a look at the offensive line, 5 underclassmen. The improvement they have made from last year is substantial. And that young guy right there, Lamont Warren, is a much better running back this year, much stronger inside, and also much more confidence.
And don't forget, much healthier. He suffered through a shoulder injury all of last year. He seems to be about 100% this year. Warren did pick up the first down with that last run, so it's another first down for the Buffs here. Warren this time about 3 yards before Steve Martin brings him down.
Of course, last year he played hurt in the Nebraska game here, or a couple of years ago, his freshman year in the Nebraska game, with that dislocated shoulder, popped it out in the game and continued to play after it was popped back in.
They really have some nice choices at running back, don't they? Lamont Warren, Rashawn Salam, James Hill, all having pretty good years, and all bring something different to the running game. Stewart throws complete to CJ. It looks like that last effort will get him the first down. And the Buffs are in Missouri territory.
The two things strike you when you talk about Charles Johnson. Number one, his amazing ability to come up with tough catches when it looks like he's covered. And number two, he is very difficult to tackle. You can see fighting off a couple of Tigers and continuing to keep his balance, lunging forward for the first down. Charles Johnson has had an excellent season for the Buffs. He's first in the all-time receiving yardage list with almost 1,900 yards. He's third in the all-time list for number of catches. He's got 96 coming into today.
Yeah, last year he had 11 of them against Missouri in a record day. Warren goes up the middle for a couple of yards. David Simon, the defensive end, to tackle. That'll bring up 2nd and 9 for the Buffs. They're at the Missouri 42-yard line. And on the season for Lamont Warren, 332 yards already. The next number is the key number, almost 5 yards a carry.
That's about 2 yards per carry more than last year.
A good rush on Stewart. Gets rid of the ball to a wide open Matt Lepsis, but he could not hold on. Lepsis is the freshman redshirt out of Frisco, Texas. Doesn't see much playing time, but he's in the game awfully early today.
Well, I'll tell you, it's like we're in Chicago. As far as being cold, it's only 30-some-odd degrees, but it is a bit nippy. Stewart reads the blitz, and then the athletic ability allows him to get outside. He threw this one with a lot of heat. Lepsis said, got his hands on him and went right through. Blitz again.
3rd and 9, straight up the middle comes the linebacker. He almost had a good shot at Cordell Stewart. Excuse me, that was a defensive back, Andre White, who came right up the middle untouched, and that caused Stewart to overthrow his man on the far side of the field, and that'll bring up 4th down for the Buffs. Mitch Berger is in to punt the ball for CU, and Kenny Holly is back close to the 10-yard line to receive it for Missouri. Berger is listed as 10th in the nation punting. He's averaging a little better than 40 yards a kick. As for Kenny Holly, he has averaged 7 yards on each punt return. Berger off the side of his foot gets a nice roll, but it gets into the end zone before Christian Fourier can knock it down. So Mizzou will get the ball at its own 20-yard line after the Mitch Berger 42-yard punt. We'll take a break. We've got 11-12 to go in the first quarter.
Say, have you ever seen one of these? It's First Federal Bank's new Visa checking card. Use it like a credit card, but it works like a check. Your charges are paid automatically from your First Federal checking account. When you get the new Visa checking card, you can get a new First Federal checking account and your first box of checks free. With all that and the new Visa checking card, why not make First Federal your bank? Since 1885, First Federal, Colorado's convenient consumer bank.
Buffalo Bills coming out Sunday night. Size up the team, replay the fight. Buffalo Bills coming out Sunday night.
The highlights, the insights, the student athlete of the week. Join me, Mark McIntosh, for the Bill McCartney Show.
Buffalo Bills coming out Sunday night, 10:35. See it all live. Buffalo Bills coming out Sunday night.
Yeah, I'm Buffalo Bill.
The Bill McCartney Show, brought to you on News 4 by these sponsors.
We make the finest instruments for your eyes. Shop anywhere you like, but before you buy, take a look at your optics. Your Optics, Cherry Creek, Greenwood Village, and the Tabor Center.
Early in the ball game, we've traded punts, Missouri and Colorado. Right now, Mizzou has the ball at its own 20-yard line. Jeff Handy is the quarterback. On the year, a 56% passer. This time he hands off to Raphael Tiger Boyd, and he gets a couple of yards before Ted Johnson stops him. This Missouri offense is really having its problems lately. They're averaging just 11 points a game on the season, but they've only scored 2 touchdowns over the last 3 games. Part of the problem is turnovers. They're averaging 4 turnovers a game, and they're not picky about the way they give it up. 2 fumbles and 2 interceptions per contest. 2nd and 8. Handy on the play action. Has his man over the middle. It's Holly, and he's across the 25. Ronnie Woolfolk, the first puff to hit him.
Kenny Holly is the guy that Jeff Handy wants to get the football to. Holly last year caught 60 passes. He's had 112 catches in 36 career games, and he's a good possession receiver. You see him fighting through Sam Rogers. He'll catch the ball over the middle. He needs 13 more receptions to be the Missouri all-time leader in number of catches, and he will replace Victor Bailey, who is now playing with the Philadelphia Eagles.
3rd and 2 for Mizzou. That ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage, and the pass to the tight end Ofadale incomplete, and that'll bring up another punting situation for the Tigers.
And as you mentioned, this really has been one of the main problems for Missouri this year. Too many 3-and-outs. The defense, they feel like, is the best they've seen in Missouri in Bob Stoll's tenure, but the offense has been way too inconsistent, continuing to put pressure on that Tiger defense.
Charles Johnson back to return the punt. He's averaging 7.5 yards per punt return. Kyle Pooler doing the punting. Not a very good kick. It's low, and CJ has a chance for a pretty good return. Makes a leap and gets it to midfield, and a flag is down. What an athletic move. Earned him another 5 or 6 yards. That was a 43-yard punt, and CJ returned it 21 yards. Let's see what the flag is all about.
That's going to be a clip. That's one of the problems when you run sideline to sideline. Usually somebody gets a hand in the back.
We've got a push in the back by the receiving team. 10 yards from the flag. First down.
You can see just to the right, there was some contact. Eric Mitchell, I think, was the guy called. Looked like he tried to hold up.
Bill McCartney obviously not very happy about that, but you take what you're given, and right now the Buffs have the ball at the 38-yard line. It's 1st and 10. Westbrook in motion. And Cordell Stewart keeping on the option. Dragged down from behind by defensive lineman Damon Simon. Cordell squeezed 5 yards out of that play.
Now there's some guys that need to be talked to a bit. Stewart doing a nice job stretching that defense. And again, Missouri with very good quickness on defense. Cordell Stewart has been effective running the football this year as well.
He is their 3rd leading rusher.
You know, that play didn't look like much. You look up at 2nd and 4.
We've got under 9 minutes to go in the first quarter. Cordell Stewart. This time hands off to Warren, who is hit immediately by the linebacker Travis McDonald.
We talked about Travis McDonald at the top of the telecast. 220-pound inside linebacker. Not so big, but very, very quick. I think that was Daryl Major.
Well, whoever it was a loss of 4 yards on the play, and that brings up 3rd and 9.
Yeah, maybe it was McDonald. McDonald very, very quick inside. 4-3 defense for Missouri, and they've got some good athletes.
Stewart looking downfield. Underthrows his man. Intercepted. No?
Yes.
Yes. Intercepted. The pass was intended for Sean Embry, and coming up with the pick on the tip was number 40, Jerome Madison, the safety.
But Missouri in the first 2 Colorado possessions has really been aggressive up front. They have blitzed in 3rd down situations. You'll see the blitz again. Warren does a nice job of picking up the linebacker, and then they just lock on man-to-man. This ball behind Embry, and what a great interception by Madison, who continues to follow the football on his way down. Big break for the Tigers.
And for the first time all afternoon, Missouri has the ball in CU territory. Handy going deep. He's got a man open, but he overthrows him. It was Kenny Holly, wide open at the 10-yard line, just could not get to that pass.
And Bob Stoll has seen more of this than he would want to this year. Jeff Handy with the receiver wide open. Now all you have to do here is get some air under the ball. He tries to throw it too much online, and as you can see, Holly is well behind everybody in black jerseys.
Man closest to him was 47 there, the free safety Chris Hudson. So the Buffs catch a break there, and Missouri has 2nd and 10 at the Buffs' 49-yard line. Back to the air goes Handy. A nice catch by Brian Salee, and he's at the 30-yard line of CU.
Colorado again trying to play a 2-deep zone. The problem with that, the cornerback has got to get a jam on the receiver. Salee got off scot-free, and this runs an easy corner pattern. You can see nobody in front, and the safety unable to make the play from behind. You're asking a lot of Dennis Collier at corner. You want him to jam that receiver when he comes off the line in that coverage.
That man Salee is quite an athlete. He's also the Missouri backup quarterback. Missouri keeps it on the ground and gets nowhere. That was Michael Washington. Ted Johnson the tackle. That'll bring up 2nd and 10.
He looks like a fullback, doesn't he? Or a nose guard.
Stocky, no neck. And the CU offensive line getting a few pointers. Bob Simmons doing the pointing. The assistant head coach for these CU Buffs. 2nd and 10. We've got 7 minutes to go. First quarter. We're in a scoreless tie. Handy overthrows Holly. That'll bring up 3rd and 10. Good pressure by Darius Holland of CU. He was in Handy's face the whole way.
Jeff Handy has not thrown a touchdown pass since the first game of the year. And things got off to a very prosperous start for the Tigers. They beat Illinois 31-3, and then had the misfortune of having to go to College Station, Texas, after Texas A&M lost to Oklahoma. You can see good pressure up front by the Buffs.
And the Missouri coaching staff feels that Texas A&M blowout, 73-0, really affected the quarterback, Jeff Handy. He just hasn't had that confidence since that game. This pass complete to the tight end, Ofadale, but he doesn't get very far. He's down to the 28-yard line. Greg Lindsey the stop. And Mizzou brings out the field goal unit. Kyle Pooler will attempt the field goal. On the year, he's 3 for 5 in field goal attempts. He had a real rough week last week against SMU. He had a field goal attempt and a punt block. The field goal attempt came with 15 seconds to go and would have given Missouri a win. Instead, they had to settle for a 10-10 tie. This field goal try will be from 45 yards out. It's long enough, but it's no good. It's wide left. So Missouri will stay off the board. In fact, neither team has anything on that board. We're 0-0 with 6:07 to go, first quarter.
Here. Mr. Prenger's meeting starts in 12 minutes. I know. You have to call Miss BB. You got 3 more calls from Mr. Avalero. Oh, gee. Oh, my gosh. We left Miss Stickles holding on line 2. Tell her, tell her,
Pinched for time? U.S. West Cellular can help. Call 1-800-BUY-TIME.
Can I call someone for you?
U.S. West Cellular, making the most of your time.
Buttons are made of every material imaginable.
At Bank One, we're doing whatever it takes to give you more choices in home equity loans and credit lines.
We have horn and bone and leather and wood. I think one of the most bizarre buttons is made from chicken skin. Then there's potatoes, a little cheerier.
More choices in rates, terms, and repayment. So why do we offer so many choices in home equity?
When you give people choices, they're happy.
Bank One, whatever it takes.
It's a whole new world of possibilities.
Pizza Hut has gone Hollywood. With a blockbuster Bigfoot movie deal. Now, every time you buy a Bigfoot pizza, you get a coupon for 1 free movie rental at Blockbuster with any other movie rental. So make it a Blockbuster night with Bigfoot.
My mother thanks you. My father thanks you. My plastic surgeon thanks you.
It's a blockbuster deal from Pizza Hut.
A little more than halfway through the first quarter. There's your score. Mizzou 0, Colorado 0. And CU with the ball at its own 28-yard line. Cordell Stewart completes the out pattern to Michael Westbrook. He looks like he has a first down. If not, he's just a couple of inches short. Kevin McIntosh on the coverage.
And Missouri right now is forcing Colorado to throw on first down. They are committing 8 men to the line of scrimmage, and so far here this afternoon they have just manned up on the outside. Cordell Stewart with a very strong arm. Again, to make that throw, it's about a 35-yard throw right on the line.
Buffs have been so successful in their last 29 conference games, just 1 loss. That is an amazing record. 3 conference titles outright, 1 tie with Nebraska a couple of years ago. Again, the quick one to Westbrook, and he's across the 45 for a first down. Jerome Madison the coverage.
By splitting Lamont Warren out, you basically forced Missouri, the inside linebackers, to stay inside. And everybody has a man on the outside, and you get good receivers on people that they should be able to beat. Westbrook big enough to get inside and make a tough catch. Jerome Madison, the safety.
On first down, the option. Stewart wide open again. First down and more along the sideline, and steps out of bounds inside the 25. There's a man down on the field for Missouri. It looks like the defensive end, Rick Lyle. That was a 30-yard pickup for Cordell Stewart.
Again, Colorado has hurt people with the option. Good block by Michael Westbrook right there. Cordell Stewart big enough and quick enough to turn the corner. Buffs did not run any option last year at all out of this attack. But with Elliot Uzelak now the offensive coordinator, they want to take advantage of Cordell Stewart's strength. One, to throw the ball, but also his ability to run the ball.
They've run that option play twice now. Stewart has kept it both times, and he's had huge holes to run through. There's a delay right now because there is a man down on the field hurt. And I believe it is the fine defensive end from Missouri, Rick Lyle, the senior out of Kansas City. He had 13 tackles last week against SMU. If he can't come back, this is quite a blow for the Tigers. And this must be serious. The CU training staff coming out to help the Missouri training staff. Take a look at him. While Rick Lyle is 10-2, we're going to take a commercial break. We've got 5:29 to go, first quarter.
Last year, it happened to 24 everyday, ordinary people. Which means there's a good chance 24 everyday, ordinary people will win the lotto jackpot this year. And 24 next year. And the year after that. 5 years from now, there might be over 120 new lotto millionaires. So when you look at it that way, maybe you don't have to be that lucky to win lotto after all.
Danny Walker puts everything he has into everything he does. It's something he learned from his dad. As one of 250,000 family farmers who make up the farmland system, Mike Walker puts everything he has into producing better food. That's why farmland foods are the best they can be. It's not easy, but Mike knows the extra effort's worth it. It's something he learned from his son. Farmland. Better farming, better food.
The Timberline, a special breed of restaurant at Mile High Greyhound Park. The best seats in the house, the Timberline Clubhouse Restaurant. Dog days are here. Mile High Greyhound Park, 62nd and Colorado Boulevard.
And they brought a stretcher out for Rick Lyle, the defensive end for Missouri. I believe it's Rick Lyle. It's been tough to determine who the player is because he's been surrounded by so many members of the medical staff. But I do believe it's Lyle. This telecast is an exclusive presentation of KCNC-TV and the National Broadcasting Company. Any reproduction of this telecast without the expressed written consent of KCNC-TV is prohibited. The score is 0-0. We've got 5:29 to go in the first quarter. CU's Cordell Stewart just ripped off a 30-yard run, and the Buffs are deep into Missouri territory. They're at the 22-yard line with a first down, but right now our main concern is the man down on the field.
Well, you never like to see that many folks surrounding a fallen player. And also never like to see a stretcher being brought out on the field.
Of course, there's great concern right now on the Missouri sideline. Rick Lyle is a senior out of Kansas City. He's a Parks, Recreation, and Tourism major. He's also quite a track and field athlete. He's an All-American shot putter. Last year came in 10th at the NCAA meet. Well, in all your years playing, Dave, have you ever had a serious enough injury that they had to take you off the field? And what was going through your mind at the time if that was the case?
I never did. Got knocked out a few times, but fortunately never had to go off on a stretcher. It's certainly bad enough for the player, in this case Rick Lyle, being carted off. It also really affects the players still on the field, especially on the Missouri side. Nobody likes to see anybody, your team or the other team, being carried off on a stretcher, especially when we've seen so many tragic events in football the last few years.
They're not just teammates. Many of them are best friends. They spend so much time with each other in meetings and in practice. And you hate to see a colleague go down like that. Probably takes the wind right out of you. They have Lyle up on the stretcher. They're strapping him down now to keep him from moving, it looks like. Missouri Tigers on the sideline trying to regroup after this injury. We'll bring you scores from other games from around the country throughout this ball game. Of course, the big one is between number 1 ranked Florida State and number 3 ranked Miami. Last time we looked, Florida State was leading 21-7 in the 3rd quarter. We'll update you on that. And of course, there are a lot of games going on around the Big 8 also. Kansas is at Kansas State today. Number 10 Oklahoma is taking on Texas in the Red River War. That game is being played in Dallas. Of course, Thursday night, 7th ranked Nebraska beat Oklahoma State in a close one, 27-13. Rick Lyle given a hand as he's carted off the field. He'll go into the locker room where doctors will get a better chance to look at him, see exactly what's wrong. And we resume play here in Boulder. CU with the ball at the 22-yard line of Mizzou. A first down. Up the middle the Buffs go. This is Rashawn Salam inside the 20 on his first play of the game. Jerome Madison the tackle.
Colorado's been very effective with this tailback tandem, and then you add James Hill into the mix, but Salam is bigger and stronger than Lamont Warren. He's a power runner, will break tackles between the tackles, and then of course Lamont Warren glides and also much stronger than last year.
2nd and 8 after the 2-yard pickup. Buffs keep it on the ground. Salam again. As Dave told you, he'll knock a few defenders down before he's knocked down himself. Steve Martin and Damon Simon finally bring him down. He's down to the 13-yard line.
Salam doing a good job here just following his blockers, and again the strength of this young guy runs right through arm tackles. The first, Jerome Madison, who was a pretty good tackler from his safety spot, and Salam just left him in the turf.
Yeah, he isn't all that big, 6'1", 210, but he runs big.
Well, that's big for a tailback, though. That's real good size at this level for a tailback.
Salam picked up the first down. This time it's Salam on the receiving end, and he's inside the 10. Gain of about 5. Jason Oliver the stop.
Missouri has so much respect for the tailbacks of Colorado and their ability to catch the ball that they leave the corner on the tailback and thus walk a linebacker out on the slot from the other side.
There's the score from Thursday night in Stillwater, Nebraska, coming on strong second half to beat Oklahoma State. Florida State, well, we've got an updated score. They're already in the 3rd quarter, and it's 21-7 Florida State. 2nd and 3 for the Buffs. They're at the Mizzou 6. This is Salam again. He's been doing the bulk of the work this drive. Damon Simon stops him. Looks like he might have lost a yard. Some more scores from around the country. The Big Ten opener for each team. Ohio State leading Illinois at the half, 17-3.
Boy, Lou Tepper in Illinois has really had his problems this year.
Notre Dame leading Pittsburgh in the 2nd quarter. Right now, CU threatening to put the first points on the board of the afternoon. 3:10 to go, 1st quarter. It's 0-0. A good rush. Stewart evades it. Into the end zone, tipped by a couple of players, the last one being Michael Westbrook in the end zone, and the pass goes incomplete.
Tigers doing a good job on defense. Again, we talked about this defense, the quickness and athletic ability they have, the best they've seen in Columbia in Bob Stoll's tenure. And they forced Cordell Stewart almost before he could set to get himself out of the pocket.
Buffs bring on the field goal unit. Mitch Berger is on. And this will be a 25-yard attempt. On the year, Berger 4 for 7. His long was 54 yards. He's on the left hash, so he's kicking from left to right. Berger from 25 yards out. The holder is Duke Tobin. So CU gets on the scoreboard first. The score 3-0 CU. Let's go down to the sidelines and Mark McIntosh.
Thank you very much, Les. An update on the injured Missouri Tiger, Rick Lyle. He was knocked unconscious during the play. When the training staff got out to him, he was still unconscious. He did come to while he was on the field. He's still very groggy, and they took him off. But there's no spinal cord injury, no head injury in that type of situation. But he was knocked unconscious during that play. We'll try to get an update later in the ballgame on him.
Well, thank Mark. That's good to know. It's quite a relief because when you see the stretcher come out, you see him strapping down a young man, some of the worst thoughts go through your mind. And we'll look for an update on Rick Lyle later. In the meantime, another Missouri Tiger, another starting defensive lineman is on the sideline injured, and that's Matt Murray, the 6'5" junior. They're tending to him right now, and he looks like he's in pretty bad shape. So CU with a 3-0 lead. We've got a little under 3 minutes to go. There's Murray being looked at. A little less than 3 minutes to go, and CU kicking off. Back to receive it, Rosette New-Jenkins and Clayton Baker. This is Jenkins, about 6 yards deep, decides not to go anywhere. A smart move. So Mizzou will get it at its own 20.
Bus for the first time this afternoon, finally able to mount some offense. 9 plays, 64 yards, a little over 3 minutes. They couldn't, however, knock it in the end zone, and Mitch Berger, as you see, from 25 yards out.
Jeff Handy on the afternoon, not too bad. He's got 80 yards to go right now with his Missouri Tigers. This is Washington, stacked up, finds room on the right, and run out of bounds after a gain of 13 yards. Lindsey ran him out.
Yeah, Michael Washington has all of the Missouri rushing touchdowns this year. He's just like a typical Missouri back. Big, strong guy that you cannot arm tackle. You can see bounces into the pile. Not much of a push by the Tiger offensive line, but Washington able to turn the corner. And that's a good place to hit him, right about the ankles.
Washington last week, 98 yards against SMU. You know, hard to believe, Dave. A Missouri running back hasn't run for 100 yards in a game since 1990. On first down. This is Tiger Boyd, and he goes nowhere. Ted Johnson might have thrown him for a 1-yard loss. Well, you talked about typical Missouri running backs. They've had some great ones down through the years. Tony Galbraith, James Wilder, Robert Del Pino, who's now with the Broncos.
Remember Little Joe Moore?
I sure do. You know why I remember him? I was living in Chicago at the time, and the Chicago Bears drafted Moore and his fullback and teammate from that year, a kid named Harrison. Neither one of them turned out to be much, to tell you the truth. They were both NFL busts. This is Handy on 2nd and 11. Oh, it's Ofadale right in the numbers, but he can't hold on.
Boy, that's what you can't have when you've got a struggling offense and a quarterback trying to get things going. Ofadale's caught 16 passes this year. Really pretty good average for a tight end, almost 16 yards per catch. That one hit him right in the face mask. It's embarrassing, too, because you not only have to go through it today, you got to watch it Monday in film sessions, then all your teammates can see it. Right between the 8 and the 9.
That's very unlike Ofadale, too. He comes into this game with 16 catches. He's second on the roster in receptions this year. 3rd and 11. Missouri from its own 35. Holly complete. And he's met quickly by Dennis Collier. Collier stops him short of the first down by a couple of yards, and that'll bring up a punting situation for Missouri.
I think that was going to be a shovel pass. And Colorado did a good job of playing the pass, and Holly had to go to the alternate receiver. Then we can take a look at it after the punt.
And it's Kyle Pooler back to punt for Mizzou. Charles Johnson to return. A good rush, and Pooler gets off the best punt of the afternoon. That goes into the end zone. There's a flag down on the field.
And it's going to be roughing the punter.
That punt in the air went 58 yards. Take a look, see if number 95, Darryl Price, touches him a little too hard.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker, 15 yards, automatic first down.
You can see Price does hit him with the leg extended. That's a 15-yard penalty, and Missouri back on the field with the offensive unit.
And in CU territory, that penalty marched off to the Buffs' 42-yard line. It's CU 3 and Missouri nothing. We've got 1:21 to go, first quarter. The Big 8 opener for both squads. Andy, the quarterback. The lone running back behind him is Michael Washington. And 3 wideouts in the game for Mizzou. The pass goes to the tight end, Ofadale. He gets down to the 36-yard line, a gain of 7 before Sam Rogers pushes him out of bounds.
One thing about this offense, readily apparent in the early going, he doesn't keep the ball long. 3-step drops, the ball is out of his hands. He didn't have to worry about a lot of pass rush, and you can see Ofadale wide open, just blocks down and takes it to the sideline.
2nd and 2 for Mizzou. Washington again pulls his way for the first down. Darius Holland makes the tackle. Let's see where they place this. It's going to be close to the first down. I believe he got it. Now they're going to call a timeout, and they're going to measure this. They're going to bring the sticks out onto the field. By the way, neglected to mention the officiating staff today. Your referee is Tom Allers, Frank Gaines, J.D. Clevenger, Paul Brown, Terry Porter, David Warden, and Willie Weisbrook round out that list. Well, I see that's where the 20/20 vision comes through for me, Dave.
You have it, Les.
It's a first down, Missouri, at the CU 33. Andy looking to throw. That pass also in Ofadale's hands, but this time he dropped it because Chris Hudson hit him immediately from behind.
And that's one of the reasons, again, that Chris Hudson has moved back to free safety. Had very good instincts. You can see he jumps to tie it in immediately. And Ofadale, as soon as the ball hits him, Hudson in the middle of the back delivers a blow. Missouri is throwing the ball short almost every play. And sooner or later, this defense is going to make the field much, much smaller. You're going to have to throw the ball deep and stretch Colorado vertically.
2nd and 10 for the Tigers. 57 seconds to go, first quarter. Again, the play action.
Missouri jumped this one.
Oh, Sam Rogers, excuse me, Darius Holland hit Handy from behind after the whistle had blown. The officials were blowing the whistle as soon as the snap came off the ground. Darius Holland obviously didn't hear it. So there's a flag down for the initial whistle and another flag down because I believe Holland will be called for a personal foul.
The play was blown dead. However, they didn't blow the whistle, and Jeff Handy didn't stop. He didn't hear the whistle either, and so the blow in the middle of the back, I think that's a very questionable call.
I agree with you 100%.
The right tackle
just
moved.
Didn't hear it.
The right tackle moved. The play is being blown dead now. Now, Handy's still looking down the field, and Holland is still chasing the quarterback. There's a stop, and there's the hit. He had stopped about a second prior to. Tries to hold him up, but that's not going to work either.
And we should point out, Holland kept his helmet up. He really could have done some damage here, but he kept his helmet up.
The referee needs to step in and put his hands over his head and wave the play dead. He made no move to stop that play.
Dead ball, illegal procedure, offense, walk off 5 yards. Then we have a dead ball, personal foul, 15 yards.
tell you what, I just think that's poor officiating by the referee. If he steps in and whistles that play dead, his main obligation in that case is to protect the quarterback. You watch Tom Ehlers, the referee, play is dead. He ought to be stepping in right now, waving his hands over his head, protecting that quarterback.
You're absolutely right, David. Darius Holland just didn't hear that whistle, and Handy looked like he was still playing. And McCartney is arguing that same thing.
That's just not a good call. And when that is reviewed by the officials, as they do in college, he will see. You've got to step in and make sure everybody knows that play is dead. One official did, one official didn't, and the players react only when they hear the whistle clearly or they see the referee in the white hat step in and protect the quarterback.
And we have a full view of the field and every official down there, and there was not an aggressive move to stop play there. This is Boyd down to the 21-yard line. Ted Johnson the stop. That'll bring up 2nd and 8.
I don't think anybody else gets to wear that headset but him. What do you think?
It's got his name on it. They better not pick it up. Tiger Boyd averaging 4 yards a carry this year for Mizzou. That last play he gained 2. Brings up 2nd and 8. Clock winding down. We're near the end of the first quarter. CU with a 3-0 lead. But Mizzou threatening. Washington inside the 20. Maybe 2 yards. Ted Johnson the tackle again. And that is the end of the first quarter. It's CU 3 and Missouri nothing. We'll be right back with the start of the second.
To get ahead, it's not what you know, but who you know. Well, I do know this. If you want to get a great deal on a great car, you should get to know your Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Price sells cars at Emick Lincoln Mercury, and that's why the Mercury Topaz is priced at just $89.95. There's 44 in stock to choose from. Mercury Topaz offers incredible value at an incredible price, now just $89.95.
Well, now you know. See your Denver Lincoln Mercury dealer.
See Emick Lincoln Mercury in Aurora today.
Baseball. Our national pastime. Americans love to swing, steal, slide, and sweat. And the perfect post-game alcohol beverage is a refreshing, ice-cold Zima. Say what? Zima's something different. So this season, stock up on Zima. It's also in bottles.
Hey, football lovers, it's the video coupon. Call Pizza Hut now during this News 4 Sports presentation and order your Pepperoni Lovers Pizza. 2 medium pizzas loaded with extra pepperoni, specially priced at $12.99. Call now during this News 4 program, because when it's over, so is this offer.
Today's game is brought to you by your Denver Front Range Dodge dealers, by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Colorado, by United Airlines, by Coors Extra Gold, by McDonald's, by Total, and by Metro Brokers.
Back at Folsom Field for the start of the second quarter. CU with a Mitch Berger field goal leads Missouri 3-0. Let's go down to the field. Mark McIntosh. Mark?
Thanks a lot, Les. Bill McCartney obviously upset with that personal foul penalty on the Colorado Buffaloes. It's his contention after the officials called Missouri for illegal procedure, they should have hustled in and called the play dead. They didn't do a good job of doing that. A lot of the players thought the play was still live, and then Darius Holland ended up getting a 15-yard personal foul penalty. McCartney was saying you ought to pick the flag up. You guys didn't do a good enough job of getting in there and whistling the play dead, or that penalty against Holland and the Buffs maybe wouldn't have happened. Obviously not happy on the Colorado sidelines. Back up to you guys.
That's a good point. Although it's irrelevant as to whether or not the personal foul penalty took place after the whistle was blown. Referees did not do a good job and should have been able, as we've said, to jump in there and stop that quarterback from getting hit in the middle of the back, as you see the first quarter stats.
Fairly even, and so is this ball game, with Missouri threatening to take the lead right now with 3rd and 6 at the CU 19-yard line. This is Handy. The cross screen into the middle is complete to Salee, and he's down to the 10-yard line. That's another first down for Mizzou. Ronnie Woolfolk and Sam Rogers stopped them from getting into the end zone.
Well-designed play. The slant screen from outside. Saleh's the outside receiver. He will hesitate a second and then come directly down the line of scrimmage. You see the other receiver up inside, and look at the offensive lineman downfield. That's good against a team that really comes with a significant pass rush and a receiver with an easy catch coming down inside.
Should the cornerback have stayed with Saleh when he went in the middle or no?
Impossible to know because I don't know the coverage, but well done by Missouri.
First and goal from the 10. Handy dropped for a loss by Ronnie Woolfolk. A 5-yard loss back to the 15-yard line, and Ronnie now for the season with 2.5 sacks. He is second on the CU all-time sack list with 28 over his 4-year career.
You haven't heard as much from Ronnie Woolfolk this year. Teams very aware of which side he lines up on. One thing you can't do is you can't try to block him with a running back. And Tiger Boyd has quickly learned that lesson. Left side of your screen, he catches Woolfolk and just gets run right over the top of.
Yeah, he wasn't much of a Tiger on that play, was he? Second and goal from the 15. Handy to a wide open receiver, Greg Smith, incomplete. Greg Smith, Dave, I don't know if you're aware of this. Well, you probably are, but maybe the viewers aren't. His dad, very famous NFL tight end, Jackie Smith, who played for the St. Louis Cardinals and the Dallas Cowboys. Greg is a running back.
Well, Jackie was some kind of player, too. It's too bad that a lot of folks will forever remember Jackie Smith in somewhat of infamous fashion for dropping that pass in the Super Bowl. But that guy was truly one of the great tight ends in the history of football.
Tigers now with third and goal from the 15. Looking to throw again. Has the tight end, Ofadale. He's down to the 6-yard line. That will bring up 4th and 6. Dwayne Davis the stop. And Mizzou will try the field goal.
The misdirection, again, Handy, a pretty good runner. Gets him outside the pocket, but he's forced to throw short. Good coverage deep by Colorado.
Kyle Pooler out. Handy the holder. This will be a 23-yard attempt. Pooler already has one miss this afternoon. Not this one, though. It's true. And we have a tie ball game. CU 3, Missouri 3 with 13 minutes to go first half. We'll take a break. Come right back in Boulder.
Before you take another full-size pickup out for a spin, remember, not one of them offers 4-wheel anti-lock brakes. That's about to change. It would appear truck designers have never enjoyed spending much time on the seats. And it seems neither have truck owners. That's about to change.
It is no longer a dilemma. With some of the lowest prices available for individuals, for families, and for Medicare supplements. And since it is your choice, why not choose the leader? With over 50 years of customer service and commitment, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Colorado. Good price, good choice.
He would not believe it. We were doing this taste challenge, Coors Extra Gold versus Bud, and this Bud drinker, Charlie, took the challenge.
Nothing beats my Bud.
He did it once, picked Coors Extra Gold. Twice, he picked it again. Then, he did it a third time. He was so shocked.
I'll pay you $100 if I get caught drinking another Bud.
You don't have to pay $100. Just pick up a 6-pack of Extra Gold and get back to real beer.
Darlene, the bartender, wrote up the contract. That night, someone bought him a Bud. He just pushed it away.
CU cheerleaders waiting for something to really cheer about. Right now it's 3-3 with Missouri kicking the ball off after the Kyle Pooler 23-yard field goal. Pooler is the kickoff man also. The lone man deep for CU on the kickoff will be Michael Westbrook, with a couple of pretty speedy guys flanking him, James Hill and Rashawn Salam. It seems to be warming up a little. Not as cold as it was at the beginning of the game. 33 degrees with 96% humidity. Very damp here. Westbrook from his own 2. He is stopped at the 17-yard line by Montana Wagner. And Missouri wants to let it be known this is a ball game. They look fired up. The the Missouri scoring drive that led to the field goal went 14 plays, 76 yards, and the Tigers ate up almost 5 minutes on the clock.
Let's see again early on first down if Missouri continues to play that defense. Basically a 4-4. You can see right there 8 guys within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage. You almost have to throw on first down.
Buffs offense, one of the best in the nation. This is Rashaan Salam across the 20 with a flag down on the field.
I think that's going to be holding on Colorado. It's really tough to run against that defense, even though Salam got about 6 or 7 yards, because you just don't have enough hats to block everybody. And somebody is going to be, as they say, uncovered, unblocked in that particular defensive setup.
On the offense, half the distance from the flag, repeat first down.
Tough to see from that angle as to who it was, but it puts Colorado back in the hole.
Missouri takes the penalty, so it'll remain first down, but it's going to be a long way to go for CU. 1st and 18 from their own 8-yard line. Cordell Stewart to CJ, incomplete. Knocked down by Jason Oliver. That was a risky pass.
Well, one of two things happened. Either Charles Johnson was a little bit short with that pattern, or Cordell Stewart was a little bit late with the ball. But Jason Oliver had a great break in the football, and by the time it got there, Oliver was very close to making this thing a great play for the Tigers.
One more step and you're talking touchdown for Missouri. Jason Oliver is the one who broke it up.
The same thing that we talked about earlier for Missouri now applies to Colorado. You've got to stretch this team vertically. Everything has been underneath, short passing, and they are sitting on the short routes.
Stewart on 2nd and 18 to Salam, who gets the Buffs out of the hole and is just a couple yards short of the first down. He took a tumble as he went out of bounds. Jason Oliver upended him.
Tell you what, I think he may have the first down. A great move by Salam. This is a design play, just a swing pass, and what you require here defensively, you got to have a defensive end. You can see right there chasing Salam.
You're right, he did get the first down here. Let's see this tumble.
Simone just can't quite keep it from being a first down.
And that'll bring up 1st and 10 for the Buffs at their own 27. Salam again. Makes his own room this time. A couple of nice moves. Jukes his way across the 30. Andre White, the tackle. Well, these last 2 plays, Salam has really shown his stuff. Once in the open field, another time with 2 defenders in front of him, and he gets around them.
Big, strong player, but he can really run. Enough speed to turn the corner, enough strength and power to run between the tackles. That's a pretty good package.
Kind of a combination of Lamont Warren and James Hill. Stewart, the quick out to CJ, hangs on to the ball. He's across the 35.
You see the Missouri coaches right now talking to the linesmen. They're going to spot that ball where Charles Johnson reached out and placed it. He has done this continuously in his career, and every time he does it, you think he's going to fumble. But rarely does he do that.
Such a heady kid.
Watch when he catches this going forward. Now watch where the ball is placed with his right arm. He's going down. I'll just reach forward here, and that's where they place the football.
As well they should.
That's right. It's where the ball lands, where the ball finally winds up. And because of that second effort, he's close to a first down. He can't believe it either. Wanted to take a picture of it.
I'd see a dermatologist for that problem on his right cheek there. Looks like the Buffs are short by about 6 inches. So that'll bring up 3rd and 1. Bill McCartney talking to his tight end Matt Lepsis, sending in the play with Lepsis. James Hill enters the game. few personnel changes for the Buffs. They're in their short yardage offense right now. Are they measuring again? No, they're just placing the ball. We've got 11:32 to go in the first half. We've got a tie ball game, 3-3. Each team exchanging short field goals. We've seen some movement on offense. It's just that neither team can get it into the end zone. The officials right now talking about the down, which down it is, and you need to always stay on your toes in a CU Missouri game when you're talking about what down it is. Right now it's 3rd and 1. Stewart gets the first down on the sneak.
Well, there's again, it's working. Got the hat on, almost sideways. Got the earphones on, almost upside down. The parka, the gloves. He is into this, isn't he?
Buffs with the ball at their own 39. First down. Stewart pump fakes, wide open. Westbrook drops the ball. A little underthrown, but really no excuse for Westbrook to drop that one.
Well, we talked about stretching the Tiger defense vertically. They had to send somebody deep. They got him on an out and up. This pump fake there freezes the cornerback, and Westbrook is all by himself. And this is just a case of deciding what you're going to do with it before you secure the football. You can see he took his eyes off the ball. And Michael Westbrook will not do that often. By the way, we've got an update on the Missouri player that was injured earlier, Rick Lyle, a serious head injury. We know nothing further than that, but we'll try to keep you posted.
2nd and 10. Stewart does it himself. Gets it up to the 48-yard line. Just short of the first. Travis McDonald tagged him down.
Well, I tell you, as a wide receiver, you hate to make plays like that, just to drop the ball when you're wide open. This is the Cordell Stewart we saw when he first became the quarterback of the CU Buffs. Watch this little move here. Just freezes, gets right forward for the first down. He is healthy once again. That's dangerous for opponents. You see 47 yards from your quarterback in the first half.
And he'd like to add 1 more yard here because it's 3rd and 1 for the Buffs. They're going to let Rashawn Salam do it, however. And he carries a host of Tigers down to the 43-yard line for the first down. Jerome Madison and Kevin McIntosh, 2 of the white jerseys on the tackle.
See, I think now if I'm Elliot Uzelak, I come right back to Michael Westbrook in this series and try to get him on track after the drop pass. Good job up front, good push. Salam, instead of going off left tackle, bounces it back to left guard. You can see the strength that this young guy has.
He had a great game against Stanford. The best of his college career. He went for 109 yards.
I'd make it a point to get Westbrook the ball.
First down for the Buffs at the Mizzou 43. Stewart to a wide open tight end Embry. He stays on his feet down to the 22-yard line. Jerome Madison finally stops him. Sean Embry, the 6'4" senior from Cherry Creek High School.
Colorado really has been good with this play this year. The misdirection waggle and Embry coming from his tight end spot all by himself.
And he's had a couple of pretty good teachers throughout his football career. His dad, John, was an NFL player. His brother, John, played here at CU and is now the CU tight ends coach. He's coaching his brother. First down for the Buffs at the Mizzou 21. Stewart, the pitch. That could have been big trouble if the ball didn't go out of bounds. That would have been a fumble.
That was a fumble.
It is a fumble, I should say.
That was going to be Missouri's ball if it hadn't gone out of bounds, because there were a couple of white shirts bearing down on that football.
Boy, 3-4 years ago, when CU primarily ran the option, you probably never would have seen that type of play, a fumble like that. Now, where the option is run so scarcely, so rarely, They have trouble running it. All right, the official word from the sideline on Missouri defensive end Rick Lyle is he has a significant concussion. The doctors think his neck is okay. They're taking x-rays in the locker room right now to make sure. On 2nd and 16, Stewart over the middle, intercepted. It went off the hands of Christian Fourier.
I don't think they're calling it. I think they're saying no catch.
Oh, incomplete. Darrell Major had the ball cradled. From up here, it looked like an interception.
Well, we've seen two of the surest-handed receivers for the Buffs come up with major boo-boos here in the second quarter. Michael Westbrook drops a pass wide open that would have gone for huge yardage, and that time Christian Fourier, regarded by many as the finest pure receiver this team has the ball go right through his hands.
Well, we're going to try and get you a replay of that last play. Looked like Darrell Major had that ball for an interception, but the officials say no. So the Buffs retain the ball. It's 3rd and 16 from the Missouri 28. Stewart to the end zone, wide open. Lamont Warren, who was lined up as a wide receiver on that play. Touchdown, CU.
And again, earlier we talked about Warren's pass receiving abilities. That's why they like to put the tailback out wide. Well, this thing was on the line. Great throw by Cordell Stewart. Not much air under this. He threw this like a blue darter. Look at that pass. Right in his arms. You can see Missouri defensively with the blown coverage. Javon Lenhart looking like he was expecting help deep. Didn't get it.
And the extra point by Berger is good. And CU right now with a 10-3 lead. We've got 9:08 to go, first half.
The great masters. They defined civilization in Europe for centuries. Now we're defining civilization on the way there. United Airlines' renowned international service to 15 cities all across Europe. Come fly the airline that's uniting the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
I hear the bases are loaded with cheeseburgers at McDonald's. So who's on first? 2 double cheeseburgers for $2. Is it double on first? Double doubles with 2 triples on second for $3. A triple on second? Double triple.
Thanks to McDonald's Double Plays, you can get 2 double cheeseburgers for $2, 2 triple cheeseburgers for $3, and a great deal on a triple cheeseburger extra value meal with Coke and fries.
That's what I said at first. No, at first the 2 double cheeseburgers. What?
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Well, let's say you own a business. How can U.S. West Direct Yellow Pages help? Because businesses don't come with customers. You gotta go get them. So that's why advertising was invented. Now, ideally, your ad should be in every home and business in the city, in a place customers look the most, in U.S. West Direct. Think of all those people looking at your ad, and 4 out of 5 of them happen to be ready to buy. Right now, money practically burning a hole in their pockets. Beautiful. It's where to sell. U.S. West Direct.
Well, Cordell Stewart with his best pass of the afternoon. This one from the 35-yard line. And again, this was not a lob pass. This was a blue darter. 2 yards deep in the end zone. Lamont Warren is all by himself. The Buffs on a 12-play, 84-yard drive with the game's first touchdown. 3 minutes and 52 seconds off the clock. And it has been a dogfight here in Boulder.
Buffs kicking off after that last touchdown drive, and back to receive it, Clayton Baker and Resentnew Jenkins. This is Jenkins, 5 yards deep. He's coming out. Not a smart move, it turns out. He's upended at the 16-yard line by Blake Anderson. CU crowd not too bad considering the weather conditions. A sold-out house, just under 52,000. We do have a few no-shows, but for the most part, everybody's here and bundled up pretty well. Missouri Tigers down by a touchdown. First down at their own 16. They try the middle, get a couple of yards. Kerry Hicks the tackle. Hicks was a starter at defensive end last week, but lost in the shuffle. He's been demoted to the backup nose tackle this week. Sometimes you have to make changes just for the sake of change if things aren't going well. It doesn't necessarily mean Hicks wasn't playing well at his starting defensive end spot. It just means the Buffs wanted to make some changes.
And plus they think he's better suited to play nose anyway.
2nd and 8. Handy complete to Afadale. Ball is popped loose but goes out of bounds, and Missouri will keep it. Tigers also get a first down on the play. Sam Rogers, the hit that popped that ball out of Afadale's hand.
The misdirection play we've seen, you can see the guards cross, protect Handy. The tight end just blocks for a second, releases out to the sideline, and he is the primary receiver. The Tigers actually picked up a couple of yards on that fumble.
Dwayne Davis also on the hit to help pop that ball loose.
They should have. They've marked the ball about 3 yards short. I think that ball should be up closer to the 30-yard line. Nope, about the 29.
Do you mark it where the player lost the ball or where the ball went out of bounds?
I believe unless it's in the last couple of minutes, you mark it where the ball went out of bounds.
Well, Mizzou still has a first down. The ball at the 29-yard line. 8:20 to go, first half. This is Tiger Boyd. A little spin move earns him a couple extra yards, and he's up to the 34. Let's go down to the sideline and Mark McIntosh.
Thank you, Les. A further update on Rick Lyle. He has a concussion. How severe, we don't know. They've taken him to the hospital for precautionary measures. They're going to have a CAT scan performed on Lyle, but doctors on the Missouri sideline are optimistic that the defensive tackle is going to be okay. Back up to you guys.
Well, that is good news.
We'll be optimistic, too. 2nd and 5 for Mizzou. Boyd met head on by Hicks.
When you were a starter 1 week at one position and this week you're backing up at another position, when you finally get your chance to play, you usually play like a wild man. That's what they need from the nose anyway, and you can see Hicks right there doing a good job of just standing up Matt Burgess, the center, and making the play.
Hicks, a psychology major from Salt Lake, and I'm sure his psyche was bruised a little being demoted to second string. He wants to get back into that starting 11. There's a timeout on the field. Missouri is taking it. The first timeout taken by either team this ball game. It's 3rd and 7. Well, if you haven't noticed yet, everybody's watching Wade, and you can too. Tune in Monday night for the Wade Phillips Show. We'll talk with the head coach of the Broncos about Sunday's game with the Green Bay Packers. We'll also have a visit from Wade the Wizard and be joined by a star of the game. That's the Wade Phillips Show this Monday at 6:30 on News 4, the home of the Denver Broncos. Well, right now the Missouri Tigers, or excuse me, the CU Buffs are #1 in this game at least. Up 10-3 with 7:08 to go in the first half. Jeff Handy, the Missouri Tiger quarterback, getting some instruction from the sideline. Missouri has the ball at the 32-yard line. It's 3rd down and 7 to go. From the shotgun is Handy. He's going to throw it. The screen, it's Freeman, and he goes nowhere because Chris Hudson doesn't let him.
And I think you found yourself a new free safety. Chris Hudson started the season at corner and does have the ability to cover one-on-one out there, but we've talked about his instincts. This at free safety, he's at the right top of your screen. He is locked on Freeman man-to-man and gets there just about the same time Joe Freeman turns to run upfield.
Fuller to kick. Charles Johnson to return. Opponents have returned punts against Missouri for an average of 14 yards, which is not very good. Not from Missouri anyway. That time they keep Charles Johnson from breaking a big one. And CU will have the ball at its own 36. That was a 38-yard punt, not much of a return. You Broncos fans won't want to miss Broncos beat tonight at 6:30 on News 4. Gary Miller and Broncos running back Reggie Rivers will preview tomorrow night's game against the Green Bay Packers. They'll be joined by Broncos offensive lineman Dave Waddell, whose brother Doug was traded to the Packers earlier this year. I'm sure Dave has some choice words about that. All that and a whole lot more on Broncos beat tonight at 6:30 on News 4, the home of the Broncos. Buffs with the ball on their own 36. They've got a 10-3 lead. Lamont Warren finds the hole, stays on his feet, gets it to the 43. Andre White finally stops him.
And we talked about it a lot this afternoon. That's just a run last year that Lamont Warren would not have made. He's bigger, he's stronger, and he's running with much more confidence. And as Les said earlier, maybe the key factor for Warren's success this year, he's healthier. Dips and jumps back inside, runs through an arm tackle. That's a pretty good tackle by a guy who's the leading tackler for the Tigers, Travis McDonald, and he runs right through it.
2nd and 2. Stewart with gobs of time finally finds CJ into Missouri territory down to the 46. Jerome Madison the tackle. Boy, Derek West did a great job blocking, keeping his man off the quarterback Cordell Stewart.
3rd catch for Charles Johnson. They tried to get the ball, I think, deep to Michael Westbrook, and you can see Johnson is the underneath receiver and does here what good receivers do. You know your quarterback's in trouble, give him a target. Get to an open spot where he can see you and give him a target to throw to. Johnson with the 1st down catch.
Charles Johnson, #1 all-time in CU history for receiving yards. But he's constantly looking over his shoulder at Michael Westbrook, who's 3rd on the list. This is Lamont Warren on the pitch. He gets it inside the 45. Chris Wall's the tackle. And it looks like Lamont Warren was caught in the chains on the sideline. They had to extricate him.
And that's one tackle you can't get away from. Warren, short side option, not enough room to run outside. And his foot, as you said, gets tangled up.
It's like Chris Naoli getting looked at. Buffs offensive lineman. Meantime, Cordell Stewart getting a good look at the Missouri defense. It's 2nd and 9. The Buffs at the Mizzou 45. Again, the option. Again, Warren eludes one tackler and gets the 1st down yardage. That last reach did it. Jerome Madison couldn't keep him from doing it.
Short side option again. You'll see a Tiger unblocked. I think it's Javon Lenhart, #6, should make this tackle. Cut back here. Lenhart, the rover, sees Lamont Warren run right through his tackle.
And they do move the chains. It is a 1st down for the Buffs.
What drives you crazy as a defensive coordinator? You have the proper defense called. You've got a guy unblocked on the running back, and he winds up picking up 10 yards. Those are things you can't fix.
4:18 to go, 1st half. Stewart looking. Off the hands of Charles Johnson. The Buffs with a bit of a case of the dropsies today. Boy, and you know that Michael Westbrook and Charles Johnson were drooling coming into this game. They've had great success against Missouri in the past. Last year, CJ with 11 catches against the Tigers. Westbrook with 8 catches. Well, a score from the WAC. CSU at home leading Fresno State 3-0. In the battle of 1 against 3, Florida State, the top dog, leading in the 4th, 21-10 over Miami. 2nd and 10 for the Buffs at the Mizzou 35. Warren racked up at the 33, a gain of 2. That'll bring up 3rd and 8. 2:45 to go first half. It's the conference opener for both squads. Ohio State leading Illinois at Champaign 17-12. And Air Force shutting out Navy at the half 10-0. That one is in Annapolis, Maryland. Stewart has his man. Are they calling it complete? Yes, they are. And his man was Christian Fourier.
We talked about Fourier when he dropped the pass on the last drive. How about this catch? This is why he has the best hands of the team. This ball thrown low. Fourier able to get his hands underneath the ball while on his way down, and that should be enough yardage for another first down.
And Christian is playing hurt this game. He's been fighting a groin injury. The 2 weeks off was really a blessing for him. If they had to play last weekend, probably would not have been available. Christian Fourier, one of the top tight ends in the nation, came into this ball game with 15 catches and 1 touchdown.
I remember seeing him as a freshman thinking, gosh, he's never going to be big enough to block at tight end. Now he's 235 and doing just fine, thank you.
First down from the 24. Stewart looking deep, has his man. Oh, broken up. A great play by Kevin McIntosh. And if he didn't get his hand on that one, Michael Westbrook is in the end zone with another CU touchdown.
And that's the way to describe it. That's just a great play. Excellent break on the ball by McIntosh. Westbrook on the flag pattern. Charles Johnson underneath trying to hold the front side coverage, and the ball just barely tipped away.
2nd and 10 for the Buffs at the Mizzou 24. This is Warren. And the flags fly from all over. I think you're right. That was the only way Jason Oliver could stop Lamont Warren from turning the corner, by grabbing the mask. You know, sometimes you just need to grab something, and if that's all you can get, you have to go for it.
But you can tell, because most guys, when they run, don't turn their head almost all the way backwards. Like that.
Unless you're Linda Blair in The Exorcist.
On the defense, 5 yards from the end of the run.
I think that's a proper call. He did have the face mask, but he let it go. He didn't tackle him with the face mask, so you had 5 yards onto the run. That's another first down for Colorado. Oliver had to tackle by the face mask because he took an angle that wasn't a good one, and I think underestimated the speed of Lamont Warren.
It was the only thing he could grab. It was protruding the most. Well, Chris Naoli, we just got word from the sideline. Buffs offensive lineman will not return. He has a sprained ankle. And Matt Murray for Missouri has a sprained right knee. He will not return either. He's a defensive end. First down from the 13. Lamont Warren pushes the crowd inside the 10. Down to the 7-yard line. Chris Walls, the initial tackler. Clock winding down. We're approaching the 2-minute mark in the half. CU with a 10-3 lead over Missouri. Missouri really has played the Buffs tough 2 out of the last 3 years.
Well, we knew coming into today's game that defensively this team was much, much better. You have to throw out what happened with Texas A&M. They hung in there against some other clubs.
Now time for Stewart again in the end zone, incomplete to Lamont Warren. Couldn't tell if that was tipped or just a drop.
I believe they're going to have to go get some stickum. It's not legal in college football, but boy, they have had some drops here in the first half. I don't think that ball was tipped. I think that ball hit Lamont Warren almost right in the head. Warren looking right. Excuse me. Cordell Stewart looking right. Man.
Right there.
Got to make that catch.
Christian Fourier thought he was open, but he wasn't open nearly as much as Lamont Warren.
That's a quarterback who says, man, would somebody please catch the ball? I can't throw it any better than that.
And that brings up 3rd and 6. The Buffs are on the 7-yard line. They choose to run it this time. Warren, maybe a gain of 1 yard. Travis McDonald the stop. Let's go down to Mark McIntosh. Mark?
Thanks a lot, Les. And Dave Logan, you can relate to this. I think like on the Charles Johnson drop earlier and then on Lamont Warren's drop right there on the cold daylight today. The guys are a little hesitant to catch the ball with their hands. They're trying to let the ball come into their body, and both times on that catch there that Warren didn't make and Johnson earlier, the ball bounced off their shoulder pads instead of catching it with their hands. Back up to you guys.
That ball is like a brick when it gets this cold, and you just don't have enough time to let it hit your body because it propels off so quickly you can't catch it.
Buffs are going to attempt a field goal here, but a little confusion on the field, so they call a timeout. We're going to take a break as the Buffs get ready to increase this lead. Well, we're back at Folsom Field in Boulder. The Buffs drive stalled on the 6-yard line, so the Buffs will attempt the field goal. Mitch Berger is out there, and this will be a 23-yard attempt. 10-3 CU lead as we speak with 1:12 to go in the first half. That lead now 13-3. And Missouri will get the ball one more time before this half ends. Mitch Berger 2 for 2 on the day. Bill McCartney, wishing his team had gotten into the end zone for 6, settles for a field goal.
The Colorado Buffaloes would like to thank you.
Missouri came in a very down, a very despondent team after losing 2 of its last 3. And that third game was a tie last week against SMU. But they're hanging tough today. Don't forget to watch the Bill McCartney Show tomorrow night at 10:35, and that's only on News 4. It's your only place for in-depth analysis and highlights of today's game. News 4's Mark McIntosh and the coach will preview next week's game at Oklahoma, as well as introduce you to another CU student athlete. That's the Bill McCartney Show, Sunday nights at 10:35 right here on News 4. Your home for the CU Buffaloes.
You know, Missouri defensively, we've talked a lot about them. You have to throw out the A&M game because the Tigers turned it over so many times, and Texas A&M is one of the country's best teams. But they lose to West Virginia 35-3 on the road. That game was scoreless in the third quarter. A couple of turnovers later, and West Virginia was off to the races. So this, believe it or not, is a much improved Missouri defense.
Berger to kick off. Jenkins and Baker once again to return. This goes to Jenkins. It's a short kick, uncharacteristic of Berger, from the 7-yard line. Jenkins caught from behind by Eric Mitchell. And Missouri will start with the ball at its own 18. Missouri has not had a lot of luck on the road. They've lost 12 straight on the road. There's the last CU scoring drive, 13 plays, 58 yards, 5:18 on the clock.
You can go even further than that and say Bob Stoll, in coaching the Tigers, has not had a lot of luck on the road. His record in 5 years is 2-20.
First and 10 for Mizzou. Tiger Boyd up the middle to the 25-yard line. A gain of 6. Ronnie Woolfolk the tackle. Jeff Handy looking at the clock winding down. Under 45 seconds to go. Looks like Missouri will be content to just let the clock run out before the half. Let's see what they do. Come out running or come out throwing. 3 wide receivers in the game. And they do stay on the ground. Tiger Boyd almost lost the ball there. Brian Diet the tackle. That should do it. 15 seconds to go in the half. I don't think Mizzou will get off another play before that gun sounds. Three, 2, and 1, and both clubs go off into the locker room to discuss their second half strategy. Let's go down to the sideline now where Mark McIntosh is honing in on Coach Bill McCartney. Mark?
Thank you very much, Les. Yeah, we are live. Bill McCartney will be joining us shortly. I think he's going to have to be happy with the fact his team played well in the second quarter. We are live right now. We are live. Coach, you got to be happy with the second quarter. You guys came alive and played better in the second quarter.
Well, the defense has played well right along, and their 3 points came as a result of 30 yards of penalties. But They're stimming in there a lot, and they've caused us some problems. I think we'll solve this thing as we go along.
Yeah, they're committing 8 guys to the line of scrimmage, basically daring you to throw the ball.
Well, it isn't just that. They're mixing their 8 and giving us different looks, and we've had a little bit of a problem adjusting, but I think we got it figured out now.
Finally, you said all week that this is a good Missouri Tiger defense, and they're showing that today.
Well, they got some players out there.
Coach Bill McCartney, we got him this week. Hey, things are improving down here. The Buffs lead at 13-3. I can hear Logan laughing up there. Back to you guys.
Well, we stopped him, Mark, but he wasn't very talkative. He's got a few things to tell his team.
They got some players out there, he says.
In that locker room. It's 13-3. See you at the half. We're going to take a break, come back, show you some halftime stats and highlights.
The Timberline, a special breed of restaurant at Mile High Greyhound Park. The best seats in the house, the Timberline Clubhouse Restaurant. Dog days are here. Mile High Greyhound Park, 62nd and Colorado Boulevard.
Many people are choosing some of the most flexible and innovative health plans we have ever offered, while others are continuing with our traditional coverage, which they've known for years. Some need just the basics. Others are choosing our HMO, because more than anyone else in Colorado, Blue Cross and Blue Shield means good choice.
The airline is uniting the world with thousands of flights to cities on 5 continents. Proudly unveils a plane no bigger than your hand. It comes with McDonald's Friendly Skies meals for kids. The food kids love. Because when you're big, you should always remember the little. United. Come fly the Friendly Skies.
Rise and shine. It's time for breakfast economics.
Equity, yield on the money you invest.
Nope. It's a good breakfast.
At a great price.
Breakfast extra value meal. One of any 4 sandwiches.
Hash brown and a small coffee.
$1.99. That sounds like a pretty good exchange rate.
McDonald's equals value.
Does this make any sense? Yeah.
Egg McMuffin, hash browns, and a small coffee.
$1.99. What you want is what you get. Get a lot, pay a little. It's breakfast economics. At McDonald's today.
What are you making a movie for the documentary?
The Bill McCartney Show, Sundays at 10:35.
It's halftime at Folsom Field. The CU Buffs leading Missouri 13-3 in the Big 8 conference opener for both clubs. Les Shapiro along with Dave Logan. A lot of people thought this would be a blowout, but Missouri hanging a lot tougher than we thought they would.
Well, so far so good for the Tigers. We knew coming in that this was a better defense than they had shown statistically in the first 3 or 4 games. And they've really been able to do a good job up front, as Bill McCartney was telling Mark McIntosh, with the 8-man front and doing a lot of different stunning up front. I think Colorado offensively has got to make a few changes in the second half.
Yeah, one of those changes would be holding on to the passes from Cordell Stewart. He's been on the money today, but the Buffs have dropped quite a few in the open field.
Well, when you throw the football a lot, one thing you have to do is catch the football. The other, of course, protect for the quarterback, and then you've got to make sure that the throws are on the money. They've had 2 of the 3, but you got to have all 3 if the passing attack is going to work.
You know, I'm glad I get to talk to you at the half instead of Bill McCartney, because you have a lot more to say. All right, no comment from Dave Logan. All right, we're going to come back and talk with CU Athletic Director Bill Moreau.
Welcome to the revolution.
Revolution?
Ice draft from Budweiser.
Ice?
It's ice brewed. Chilled below freezing until ice crystals form, then cold filtered. Taste the future of draft beer. Ice draft.
Tynan's has bought out the entire inventory of 93 Nissan Pathfinders. Over 100 in stock and arriving daily. You'll never save more on a 4x4, and your trade will never be worth more. So stop in, see one, drive one, buy one, and save, save, save. Receive a complimentary Vail getaway for 2 with purchase or lease. Plus, sign up for a trip for 2 to Disney World. Arrangements through Travel Resources. No purchase necessary. Get the best of Tynan's. 780 South Havana.
Get the best of Tynan's.
a Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich?
Yeah, we just brought it back.
Hey, is that your wife?
Where?
Ooh, could that dress get any tighter?
It's back. Wendy's Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich.
Hey, isn't that Haley's comment?
Creamy ranch dressing with real bacon and Monterey Jack cheese on a whole breast fillet. What a combination.
What's my wife doing here?
Where?
Two can play this game.
Wendy's Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich. You better buy two.
Dear Midas, my brakes were making a terrible squeaky noise. I brought my car to your competitor, and without any inspection, he said,
"You need new brakes."
Then I went to Midas. Your manager...
Hi, I'm Tom Kirshner.
...had a thorough inspection done and said,
"You don't need new brakes. The squeaking noise is caused by brake dust."
Such honesty is refreshing in the time of auto repair rip-offs. Yours truly, Frank J. Rutter.
Welcome back to our CU football halftime show. Right now, let's go down to the field. Mark McIntosh, who wants to talk about this band you hear in the background? Mark?
Thanks a lot, Les. Actually, we're not going to talk about the band you're hearing right now because that band is marching Mizzou from the University of Missouri. We're going to talk about the University of Colorado band. They perform each game here at Folsom Field. You know, a lot of hard work goes into these halftime performances, and it starts way back in the summer. And our Jim Binneman and photojournalist Scott Takeda take you back to the CU Band's summer camp.
Let's go, get a good step.
Starting in August, the canyons of Boulder, Colorado start echoing with the sounds of college football. This is football camp.
Man, 10.
And this is marching band camp.
And until it's perfect, you don't go on.
It's not easy transforming 200 students into one of the best college marching bands in the country.
8-count backward march.
It's 7 intense days of hard work, 90-degree temperatures, and on the first day, total confusion.
This is complicated.
Stacy Simons is a freshman, and she's finding out that band camp is hard work.
There's a ton of things that you're thinking about when you're out on the field. Keeping your head up. Go, CU. Keeping your feet in place. You need to hit on 1, 3, 5, and 7. Keeping in line.
How far back are you?
Marching to the right spot. Where do we go after this? And you always turn the wrong way a couple times.
Band. Left. Face. Go, CU.
Eric Lupo is also a freshman, and he feels lost. He joined the band to meet people.
It provides a good support group. You know, you get to know a lot of people and a lot of different people.
Like the guy who shoves popsicle sticks up his nose.
Quiet popsicle! 3 flavors for you!
That's Doug Breeze. He's raising money for band functions by selling popsicles. And he'll do just about anything to sell one.
Crazy, Doug.
Welcome to marching band camp.
Get up La Fiesta, please. We're in 1. Here we go. We need lots of separation. We go from the beginning.
Tom Kaniva is the director of the marching band. He says marching band is a lot more than just moving your feet around.
Music to me is the most important part of the show.
Every day of band camp, Tom works on the nitty-gritty of each song.
Is that first? Would you please mark crescendo? Let's start 2 before 25. Let's try it again. Here we go. A.
Tom says repetition is the key to perfection, and repetition takes time.
The only way we can get everything set is to rehearse in the evenings, too.
This is night 3 of band camp.
I'm sore. My muscles are sore.
It's grueling.
Just want to go home and go to bed.
Nighttime rehearsals give these tired students a welcome break from the summer heat. Most say they don't mind the long hours. They want to work hard, and they want to be good.
Go, go, go!
By the 6th day of band camp, everyone is more than a little tired.
It's just exhausting.
I just woke up.
It's tiring.
The muscles are sore, the feet are swollen, and the ears are ringing from hearing the same music 100 times. It's enough to drive anyone crazy.
Thank you very much.
And a few have gone off the deep end.
I'm very large for a woman.
That's that Doug Brees guy again. Remember selling the popsicles? Today he's wearing a dress.
Yeah, he looks pretty sexy today, except he forgot to shave his legs.
Doug says he has to wear a dress to sell a popsicle. He's sure to sell a lot of popsicles today. It's 10 in the morning and already pushing 90 degrees.
Want an ice cube?
Emily Demersiman has a solution.
This
Her pants pockets are on ice.
It's the only way to survive marching band is to carry ice.
With the long hours in the sun and all the aches and pains, you might ask, why would anybody do this?
I'll be back next year.
And why would anyone come back? The answer really isn't hard to see.
It's just a great thing to do.
Well, I'm a freshman, and I've met almost everybody in the band now.
It's just a lot of fun.
A really great experience, one that I'll always remember.
Everybody knows everybody. It's one big family.
With photojournalist Scott Takeda, Jim Benneman, News 4.
I never knew so much work went into being in the band. We're at halftime. The Buffs lead at 13-3. All kinds of Buff fans here trying to stay warm on a cold day at Folsom Field. Back upstairs to Lesson Day.
Thanks, Mark, and it's not easy to stay warm today. By the way, one final in from Tallahassee, Florida. Number 1 ranked Florida State just got finished beating number 3 ranked Miami 28-10. We'll be right back in Boulder.
Chili's has discovered how to make an onion blossom. Remember, we are professionals. Don't try this at home. Chili's Awesome Blossom, a huge onion battered flower-looking appetizer thing. Only at Chili's.
When we started business over 40 years ago, we had no idea how successful Homery Limited would be. We've always carried the finest merchandise, and our great staff gives our customers personalized service you just can't find in other stores.
Dad always taught me that being a success is more than selling good clothing. It's taking great care of our customers.
Maybe it's time you start a clothing tradition in your life. Come in and see us at Homer Reed Limited.
Homer Reed Limited, downtown Denver, Marina Square, and Cherry Creek.
Here. Mr. Pranger's meeting starts in 12 minutes. I know. You have to call Miss BB. You got 3 more calls from Mr. Abalero. Oh, gee. My gosh, we left Miss Stickles holding on line 2. Tell her, tell her,
Pinched for time? U.S. West Cellular can help. Call 1-800-BUY-TIME.
Can I call someone for you?
U.S. West Cellular, making the most of your time.
Performax from Pennzoil. New synthetic motor oil with Pennzoil's exclusive star molecule. Protects engine parts at ignition. Works like liquid ball bearings. Hangs tough during the most extreme driving conditions. Flows in severe cold. Performax from Pennzoil. Keeps it cool in extreme heat. Performax protects to the max.
Get protection to the max. Get Performax. Available at Target stores.
Back at halftime in Boulder, CU leading Missouri 13-3 in the Big 8 opener for both clubs. Right now in the booth with us, CU Athletic Director Bill Marolton. And I guess congratulations are in order. Recently you were bestowed an honor from the National Ski Hall of Fame. You were inducted. That must have been a nice night for you.
Les, thanks very much. I appreciate that. And it is a nice honor. It's especially meaningful because you're voted into that by my peers from the sport of skiing, and I've gone in there with a lot of really outstanding and wonderful, terrific people, and I was delighted to be part of the ceremony and to be inducted.
You had a big decision to make recently. You were offered the executive directorship of the U.S. ski team. You chose to stay on as CU's athletic director. In the last couple of weeks, have you rethought that position at all?
No, not at all. Actually, I was in a really fortunate situation. It was a win-win for me, no matter what the decision was. And ultimately, my heart's still here in Colorado and at the University of Colorado, and I made the decision to stay. I'm excited about the decision. I really am. I think we've got a lot to do here, and I think we've got a good, bright future and a lot of good hard work ahead of us.
Can't let you go without talking about the CU-Miami game a couple of weeks ago. Frankly, you were chastised publicly a bit and for going down on the field during that game, and we were wondering if you've heard anything from the Big 8 office about a reprimand or anything like that.
Right, now, I really haven't. In a case like this, the commissioner usually works pretty deliberately, and I really don't have any idea when he's going to get back to me or what the future or what the solution or closure to that incident will be. All right, Bill Maralt, CU Athletic Director, and Dave Logan wanted me to ask you how long it took you to get from your booth up here down to the field, but we won't do that. All right, it's 13-3. CU at the half. We'll be right back with some halftime stats and highlights for you. Thanks.
It's like nothing you've ever seen before. It's the 94 Jeep and Eagle lineup. Drive into the future with special savings on Eagle Vision TSI. Or save up to $1,750 on Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo V8. Get into the affordable Summit family for this. Forward thinkers get great deals on Eagle Talent. It's some of the most advanced thinking on the road, and it's at your Jeep and Eagle dealer today.
See your local Jeep and Eagle dealer.
Thanks to the most advanced auto parts control system in America, Checker has the parts you need to get the job done. If you find a lower price, we'll beat it by 5%. And we carry the best brand name parts, many guaranteed for as long as you own your car. Our certified Checker Parts Pros will test your starter, battery, and alternator so you don't buy something you don't need. Guaranteed selection, guaranteed quality, and guaranteed unbeatable low prices. That's the TriStar Parts System. Only a Checker. Get the job done.
Buffalo Bills coming out Sunday night. Size up the team, replay the fight. Buffalo Bills coming out Sunday night.
The highlights, the insights, the student athlete of the week. Join me, Mark McIntosh, for the Bill McCartney Show.
Buffalo Bills coming out Sunday night, 10:35. See it all live. Buffalo Bills coming out Sunday night.
Yeah, I'm Buffalo Bill.
The Bill McCartney Show, brought to you on News 4 by these sponsors. Hey, football lovers, it's the video coupon. Call Pizza Hut now during this News 4 Sports presentation and order your Pepperoni Lovers Pizza. 2 medium pizzas loaded with extra pepperoni, specially priced at $12.99. Call now during this News 4 program, because when it's over, so is this offer.
Today's game is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft Light, by Total, by Mile High Greyhound Park, by Pizza Hut, by Samsonite, by Metro Brokers, and by your Lincoln Mercury dealers.
Solar extreme ultraviolet radiation critical. HVU flight. SRBC check. Very good.
Dan Shropshire doesn't have his feet on the ground.
Solar extreme ultraviolet radiation.
But no one's too concerned at the University of Colorado, a top flight research institution that's reaching for the stars. After all, Dan is helping design and build a student-run university experiment to fly on the Space Shuttle Endeavour.
110 to 200 nanometer wavelength range.
Getting on the right wavelength, measuring ozone destruction. It's hands-on. It's the nation's #1 space grant university. It's the University of Colorado.
This is an incredibly exciting opportunity for our students to be able to actually participate in discoveries in space that will benefit our entire nation.
Couple of minutes before the second half kickoff at Folsom Field. Buffs lead it 13-3. Let's take a look at some of those halftime highlights.
And this was the big highlight for the CU Buffs. The only touchdown of the first half for either team. Cordell Stewart online to Lamont Warren. They've been able to split out the tailback on several occasions and try to get him isolated on a safety type. And Stewart with a great throw. Good pass protection, and you can see Lamont Warren by 5 yards by himself.
And another one that should have been a touchdown right here.
Well, they had a few of these. Not necessarily for would-be touchdowns, but a few of these. In the chest, ball comes free. Michael Westbrook had a drop. Charles Johnson had a drop, and that one for a touchdown by Lamont Warren.
And our halftime stats, I guess the significant line would be total yards, where you see the CU Buffaloes have held Missouri to 103 total yards, just 30 on the ground, while the Buffs themselves are on their way to a pretty good offensive day, 234 yards. Getting ready for the second half kickoff. Mizzou will kick off to the Buffs. But before we do that, let's go down to the sideline for some injury updates from Mark McIntosh. Mark?
Thank you very much, Les. Chris Naoli, who went off in the first half with that sprained left knee, will not return. Also, Christian Fourier, the Buffs starting tight end. He suffered a groin injury in practice this week. It bothered him in the entire first half. He went off the field right before halftime. He will not play the rest of the game. Christian Fourier out with a groin injury that he suffered earlier this week in practice. Back up to you guys.
Kicking off for Missouri, number 19, Kyle Cooler. Back deep to the Buffalo.
Their offense. So they'll have to do without him. Sean Embry hopefully will pick up the slack for the Buffaloes. Pooler kicking off to start the second half for Missouri. This is James Kidd from 1 yard deep in his own end zone. He is cracked at the 15. Met head on by a speeding train named Earl Brooks. So the Buffs will have the ball at their own 15. First down and a 13-3 lead. Cordell Stewart on the afternoon, a little less than 15%. 50%, I should say, in the air. Rashawn Salam gets the first call, and he goes 9 yards. Jerome Madison and Andre White, the two defensive backs, have to stop him.
And I'm sure Bill McCartney early here in the third quarter will be looking for some offensive consistency in pass protection, in throwing, and in catching. And Rashawn Salam, again, showing that cutback ability. All really good tailbacks have excellent vision. They can pick a soft spot in the defense. That play designed to start right or to go right, started right, but bounced back to the left.
2nd and 1. Salam lined up at a wide receiver spot now. Cordell Stewart going deep. CJ. I believe that ball was tipped before it bounced off CJ's hands by Kevin McIntosh.
I don't know that he got a hand on it, but we've seen Charles Johnson come down with catches like this, the tough ones, and they start early trying to stretch this defense. I think CJ just misplayed that football. Pretty good coverage there, as you mentioned, by Kevin McIntosh. Hey, let's face it, when it's this cold, it's hard to catch the football. It's slick, and it's very hard. There's no feel to it. It feels just like a brick wrapped up in some toilet paper.
And Cordell Stewart, a brick wrapped up in toilet?
Yeah, you know how that feels.
Well, not recently. Cordell Stewart can really zing it, too, which makes it all that much tougher. This is Salam trying the end. He's dragged down from the neck at the 37-yard line by Javon Lendhart. That's a first down for CU.
Check the blocking out on the left side of your screen. They just run the power. You can see good job up front of getting that push, that surge. Lendhart grabs Rashawn Salam from the collar, swings him down. But the CU offensive line may be the most improved part of their offense this year. Last year, they couldn't run on anybody. They've given up just 5 sacks coming into today's game.
Cordell Stewart has been walking away from these games very healthy. This is Salam. He's across the 40 to the 41, a gain of 4. Chris Walls the tackle. And some scores from around the country. The Red River War, Texas and Oklahoma being played in Dallas.
That's a big one for Gary Gibbs in Oklahoma.
At the half, Kansas State leading Kansas in their Big 8 opener. And Air Force doing a number on Navy at the half, 10-0. While CSU bouncing back against Fresno State. 2nd and 6 for the Buffs from their own 41. Over the middle, complete. This is Embry across midfield. Travis McDonald and Jerome Madison the tackle.
Most good passing teams have to incorporate the tight end somehow because he can control the inside coverage. He also can control the depth of the drops by the linebackers. This is just a tight end delay. Embry counts 1,001, 1,002, and then just leaks out right over the middle of the football.
And he's doubled his catching output for the year. He's got 2 catches so far today. He came in with 2. First down from the Missouri 49. The end reverse. It's CJ, and he's going to run with it. And he's got a lot of room. Down to the 30-yard line, pounding the turf because he believes if he'd have stayed on his feet instead of getting tripped up at the last second there, he could have gone all the way. Travis McDonald did the tripping.
Good handoff here by Stewart. This play designed to go outside. There was a Tiger that had pretty good contain. Travis McDonald just stayed home. Was actually completely out of the play, but Charles Johnson ran back to him, and McDonald able to get him down. Charles Johnson knows that that was a big play, but could have been a huge one.
Well, you know what you realize when you see him in the open field like that, he just glides across the field. Hard to keep up with him. First down from the 30. Complete. A very nice catch by Michael Westbrook.
And that's the first opportunity he's had since his big drop in the first half. That was a difficult try.
If you're just tuning in, Dave is referring to a catch Westbrook should have had wide open with nothing but space between him and the end zone.
Does he get 1 foot down after making this catch? Juggles, there's one. Absolutely. In pro football, that would have been no catch, but in college football, it stands.
2nd and 1. Play action. Stewart over the middle, almost intercepted by Darrell Major. The intended receiver was Westbrook, cutting across the middle.
And that's the first bad throw that Cordell Stewart has made. If he waits just a second longer, Michael Westbrook is going to break behind this linebacker, and there's nobody out in the flat. They tried to throw the ball in the middle of the field, and Darrell Major almost comes up with another interception. He had a chance in the first half and just couldn't quite hold on.
Buffs felt they could go for it, I should say, on 2nd and 1. Now it's 3rd and 1. And they decide to run for the first down. Rashaan Salam inside the 15. Jerome Madison the stop. That's a first down for CU. Buffs with a 13-3 lead. We've just started the 3rd quarter. And there's the big one out of Tallahassee. Top-ranked Florida State finally beats Miami 28-10. They made sure it didn't have to come down to a field goal this year. Notre Dame leading Pittsburgh 16-0 in the 3rd, and Ohio State winning in Champaign, Illinois over the Fighting Illini. First down from the Missouri 14. Salam again. Pulls his way down to the 6-yard line. Kevin McIntosh the stop.
I'll tell you, this is a pretty good tackle by a guy who's not very big. Kevin McIntosh, 6-footer, 175 pounds. And Salam, you smell him the goal line there. Gets down low, hits him right about knee level, and knocks his feet out from underneath him.
McIntosh had good success in the game against Missouri, or against CU last year. 8 tackles and an interception of Cordell Stewart. 2nd and 2 from the Missouri 6-yard line. Salam. Down to the 1. Initially hit back at the 5. Stayed on his feet. Travis McDonald stops him.
Travis McDonald had the first shot, and we've seen a pretty good tackler in McDonald have trouble bringing down Buff backs. You'll see McDonald, number 39, hit Rashaan Salam in the hole right there. That's their best tackler. Salam just runs right through it.
The Buffs at the 2-foot line. 1st and goal. The option. It's Stewart. Touchdown Buffs. All day long, Dave, Cordell Stewart has had that lane open in the option. This time it gets him 6.
Well, he's difficult to defend in the option because of his size and speed. Does a smart thing here. He stretches that play and forces Javon Linhart to commit to the pitch. Nobody on the quarterback, and the Buffs with their 2nd touchdown.
I noticed he looks right at Javon Linhart as he's running at him, then turns it inside.
You got to force him to make a decision.
Pittsburgher, the extra point is good. And the Buffs starting to pull away. A 20-3 lead. We have 10:34 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Introducing the 1993 Miller Genuine Draft Light Indy car. This year, say MGD Light and say no more. How do you order a Miller Genuine Draft Light? The cold filtered light with smooth draft taste at happy hour.
1 MGD Light, please.
Say MGD Light and say no more.
The Timberline, a special breed of restaurant at Mile High Greyhound Park. The best seats in the house, the Timberline Clubhouse Restaurant. Dog days are here. Mile High Greyhound Park, 62nd and Colorado Boulevard.
They say to get ahead, it's not what you know, but who you know. Well, I do know this. If you want to get a great deal on a great car, you should get to know your Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Price sells cars at Emick Lincoln Mercury, and that's why the Mercury Topaz is priced at just $89.95. There's 44 in stock to choose from. Mercury Topaz offers incredible value at an incredible price, now just $89.95.
Well, now you know. See your Denver Lincoln Mercury dealer.
See Emick Lincoln Mercury in Aurora today.
Javon Linhart is on the right side of your screen. He is the Tiger in trouble. You can see right here, he's got to make a decision there as to who to take. If he chooses the pitch man, Cordell Stewart properly keeps it and into the end zone. The key here, he stretches that play, the ball out in front, so Stewart is able to pitch if he has to, but nobody on the quarterback, and the Buffs end an 85-yard scoring drive in 12 plays, almost 4.5 minutes off the clock to open the third quarter.
And that by no means was Lenhart's fault. He had to stay with the trailing running back, because if he goes at Cordell Stewart, Stewart pitches it, and there's nobody in front of the running back, and it's a touchdown again. So really between a rock and a hard place for Lenhart. The Buffs now with a 20-3 lead. Berger kicking off. Jenkins and Baker back, and this is Jenkins from the goal line. Slow developing, and it cost Jenkins big time. He's brought down at the 13 by Maurice Enriquez. The CU freshman has made 2 tackles on special teams today. We've got 10:28 to go, third quarter. Buffs up by 2 touchdowns and a field goal. Added up, that totals 17 points. Jeff Handy on the day. Somewhat successful, just can't get his team in the end zone.
That has plagued them all year. They at one point went 11 quarters, consecutive quarters, without a touchdown.
Handy comes out throwing. Broken up by the linebacker, Ted Johnson, and I don't know if Johnson even knew the ball was coming.
Missouri has run this play a lot, the misdirection, trying to get the crossing routes, and the linebackers do a nice job here of gaining some depth and locating the tight end. You can see Ted Johnson makes a very good break in the football. That's an excellent play by the inside linebacker.
He did see it coming and knocked it down. 2nd and 10 for Mizzou from their own 15. That pass complete to Holly. He's got wide open spaces. Caught by Dennis Colliard at the CU 39-yard line.
Well, Jeff Handy's best throw of the afternoon, and to his top receiver. Aligned in the slot left. They just run a seam pattern. You can see gets in the middle of the zone. Hudson slips down, and great effort here by Dennis Collier. Otherwise, Holly is into the end zone.
This is a 46-yard gain for Mizzou. First down at the CU 39. Handy with time. Decides to run it. He's not much of a threat doing that, but he squeaks 3 yards out of it. Matt Russell the tackle. Handy on the year has minus 85 yards rushing. Of course, you have to include sack yardage lost in that figure. But it's very unusual when he takes off running.
We've told you this guy can throw the football, and as Les said, not real nimble back there. Last year, when the Tigers played Oklahoma State, Jeff Handy was 43 for 73 for 480 yards. So he can get the job done if he has time.
2nd and 6. Holly wide open. Drops the ball. Just straight out drops it. Not a defender near him. That'll bring up 3rd down.
Boy, he dropped it almost after he made the catch. Looked like he had that ball cradle in his arms. This is a terrific throw. Again, the misdirection. You'll see the ball on the money. That's almost a fumble.
I hesitated to call it incomplete because I thought he might have had it long enough. Evidently not. So it's third.
Big 3rd down for Missouri here to get back in this game. You're down 17 points. You need touchdowns, not field goals.
3rd and 6. Again, the play action. This time complete to the tight end, Ofadale, short of the 1st down. Is it a fumble? No, they're calling it down. Short of the 1st down. A nice stop by Greg Lindsey.
And when Jeff Handy reviews this film with his teammates from Missouri on this play, he's going to grab his head and say, oh, because he had his receiver, Kenny Huntley, wide open, running a flag pattern behind the Buff defense, but threw short. Look at, you can see right there, you see Holly? Wide open. But he decided to go to the tight end, and I think Missouri has to think about going for it here.
And that's exactly what they're doing. Handy still in a quarterback. The offensive unit on the field. They'll forego the field goal try. It's 4th and 1 from the Buffs' 31. Oh, a great play by the Buffs defense. 3 or 4 black jerseys, including Shannon Clavel, in there to stop Missouri. The Buffs take over on downs.
And one of the reasons Shannon Clavel switched from nose tackle to left defensive end, they thought he wouldn't get double teamed as much. And you can see that it's necessary to make sure he is taken care of, because he had excellent penetration and got to the ball carrier just as he had the football. Michael Washington really never had a chance to come from the left side. You can see Clavel right there knocking his feet out from underneath, and then the linebackers Phil, Matt Russell, and Greg Lindsey.
So the Buffs take over at their own 32 with a 20-3 lead. This is Lamont Warren. Cuts back across midfield. Caught from behind by McDonald. But Lamont gets inside the Missouri 40-yard line. Boy, the Buffs really turn it on defensively and offensively now.
And you talk about a guy that can glide. Takes the handoff. Excellent block up front by Heath Irwin. Gets into the secondary. Look at your wide receivers working downfield. Michael Westbrook. Just cuts back to the middle. Derek West downfield trying to block. Lamont Warren really is a much improved player this year.
And picks up 30 yards on that play. So the Buffs with a 1st down at the Mizzou 38. How quickly the momentum can change. Over the middle, complete. Westbrook down to the 30. That's his 4th catch on the afternoon. Well, Dave, we got some good news from the Missouri sideline. Rick Lyle, who had to be carried off on a stretcher. They did a CAT scan on him. It was negative. But he will spend the night here in Colorado under observation. He won't fly back with the Tigers to Missouri this evening.
That's great news. Boy, you think the worst when you see somebody carted off, the helmet's still on, the neck and the head taped to the stretcher, but that's great news.
2nd and 2 for CU. Warren, a nice move inside the 20 and down to the Missouri 13-yard line. Jason Oliver and Jerome Madison finally make the tackle. Well, the CU running backs today have been so elusive.
The ability to start and stop and change direction is most impressive on this run. Even that quick. Andre White, the free safety, had a clear shot at Lamont Warren and didn't slow him down a bit.
Why, Missouri has spent more time today grabbing at air.
Watch this move in the hole. Whoop. That's a pretty good tackling free safety. And Andre White, who started most of last year, never had a chance.
1st down for the Buffs at the Missouri 12. It's Warren again. Stays on his feet, gets in the end zone.
You know, one thing we haven't talked about, we talked about the receivers having a tough time in weather like this, but it's really tough to tackle because the jerseys are slick and you can't really pop a guy. You just try to grab him and you just pull right away from it. You can see there Lamont Warren with great strength able to pull away from a couple of Tigers. Tough to wrap up in weather like this and tough to gain enough speed to knock somebody down with a body block.
Berger, the extra point. He's got it. And the Buffs now with a 27-3 lead. We've got 6:37 to go, third quarter, and we'll be right back.
I ordered pepperoni and onions on this pizza. I can't taste them. I can't even see them. They're just cut small. Small?
So small they can't be seen by the naked eye.
That small. That's small.
Looking for really big toppings? Now you can find them at Pizza Hut. Introducing the new Chunky-style pizza. It's got big chunks of meat and vegetables for taste you can actually see.
Hey, I don't believe it. I see one. Where? Hey.
Just kidding.
Want big toppings? Check out the new Chunky-style pizza from Pizza Hut.
Try the Pizza Hut all-you-can-eat lunch buffet for $3.99.
In over 30 countries the world over, you'll find one thing in common. Quality gasolines and motor oils from Total. At Total, we refine and blend our own gasolines for specific driving conditions. Then we add Total Clean detergents to keep your engine running smooth and strong. No one gives you more than Total. And now, you can find Total quality right here in Colorado.
First, he tried his luck with a white zonger, then a woolly bugger. He followed that with a teeny-weeny hawker and a yellow marabou muttler. But when the day was over, Paul had no luck and no dinner. So he stopped to buy dinner at a Lotto Quick Pick, and this time the big one didn't get away, which has now given him plenty of time to try a silver doctor, a woolly worm, a grizzly king.
Back at Folsom Field, CU just scored a touchdown to make it 27-3 over Missouri. The Big 8 opener for both squads. And CU and Mitch Berger kicking off right now. Brissett New-Jenkins and Clayton Baker back to return the kick. Jenkins on the left, Baker on the right. 6:37 to go, third quarter. Les Shapiro and Dave Logan with you in Boulder today. Berger, a short kick. This is Baker. He's finally wrestled down at the 32-yard line. Eric Mitchell made the tackle.
Just the lead handoff. Excuse me, and a good job done up front by the CU offensive line and the strength of Lamont Warren just to pull away. He has been tough to tackle all afternoon. 4 plays and 68 yards and pretty darn quick.
He and Salam both doing a good job evading tackles all day long.
Those are not little backs. They were little when they got here. Those are 200-pound backs. Salam even a little bit bigger than that.
Jeff Handy in Missouri with a first down from their own 32. Handy with time, going deep. Intercepted by Chris Hudson. At his own 37-yard line. That's the 4th interception for Hudson this year.
More evidence as to why Chris Hudson, I think, is better suited to play free safety in this defense, because you get a great athlete with superior instincts in the middle of the field. But this is a great job of hanging on to the football. Most defensive backs will not catch that ball. They'll knock it down. It'll be 2nd and 10 for Missouri. Instead, Hudson comes up with his 12th interception of his career. He's got 12, and he's a sophomore. Going in, that was the 5th best mark in CU history.
And the CU record all time for a career is 16, held by the bad dude, John Stearns, going on to a great Major League Baseball career. Well, Cordell Stewart completed the pass on the sideline, but the man catching it was a CU equipment man, Jimmy Webb. Not a player, so incomplete.
But a pretty good catch.
It was.
Big Jimmy. He likes it. He's proud of that catch. I don't blame him.
He wants to know if he's going to show up in the stats tonight. There's a good man. I'll tell you, he's big enough to play on either side of the line for CU. Second and 10 from their own 37. This is Salam. Big hole up the middle. He makes even more of a hole himself. Up to the 49-yard line. Travis McDonald finally stops him. Boy, they are just juking and jiving.
And Bo Adams in the game for the first time at free safety number 4 finds out what it's like to have a 210-pound back. Make you miss. Made everybody miss, including us. Rashawn Salam thundering ahead for a first down.
Salam, just a sophomore out of San Diego. And a lot of good years ahead of him. Maybe great years. First down, the Buffs from their own 49. Stewart knocked down. Looked like Steve Martin got his hand on it.
Colorado sending 5 out in the pattern. Look at the pass protection Cordell Stewart has. A good job here by the Tiger defensive line, just trying to get up, get a hand in the passing lane.
Buffs looking for that kill right now. They're up 27-3 with 5:48 to go, third quarter. They'd like another score to secure that game. That lead. Second and 10. Stewart to CJ. Well short of the first down. Jason Oliver on the coverage. It's CJ's 4th catch on the day. You know, you were talking earlier about how difficult it is to catch those zingers from Cordell Stewart. That might be one of the problems. The Buffs are dropping balls. It's cold. It's tough to catch it. I'll never forget a few years ago when Mark Jackson of the Broncos showed me his hands on a cold day after catching passes from John Elway. The seams of the football just rip up your hands. It makes bloody rows on your hand. And I know that's not a graceful description, but that's exactly what it is. The ball really tears up your hands, particularly the seams. This time Westbrook a little underthrown, and that pass is incomplete.
And that's a pass, even though the ball was behind him, that Westbrook, I think, in more favorable weather probably makes.
So that brings up 4th down for the Buffs. Berger comes in to punt. And it'll be Kenny Holly back to receive the kick. Holly not exactly dangerous as a punt returner. At least he hasn't been up until now. His longest return on the season, just 11 yards. Berger, a gorgeous kick, nice and high. Holly at his own 10. He calls for a fair catch, and that's where the Tigers will start with it. We're going to take a break at Folsom Field after that 38-yard punt by Mitch Berger. The Buffs well ahead.
Homer Reed talks about his successful business philosophy.
Customer service has been our key to survival and to our growth. We will do anything for a customer. Anyone that comes in and asks any one of our staff members to do something, it will be done, and they will have what they want. We have expertise in the department stores today, in the shopping malls. You can't find anyone that knows anything about what they're doing. We know what we're doing. We're going to make it, and our competitors are going to have a tough time.
Samsonite's Adventure Series luggage is perfect for those active vacations. It's sporty, easy to carry, and like every Samsonite, quite durable. The Adventure Series, for all you can pack into a vacation.
How do you order a Miller Genuine Draft Light? The cold filtered light with smooth draft taste at happy hour.
1 MGD Light, please.
Say MGD Light and say no more. How do you order Miller Genuine Draft Light? The cold filtered light with smooth draft taste at a Fern bar? You don't. MGD Light is far too cool for a Fern bar. Say MGD Light and say no more.
There's a look at chilly, foggy Boulder, Colorado. But the hearts are warm on the field because the Buffs lead Missouri 27-3. We've got 4:48 to go in the third quarter. And Missouri with the ball at its own 11. This is Tiger Boyd, who's caged quickly. Let's see if the whistles blew before the ball popped out. Now Missouri will keep the ball, and it'll be 2nd down and 9.
You can see Colorado has stiffened up a bit in terms of giving up yardage. Missouri coming in really didn't run the ball very well, averaging just a little over 100 yards per game running. But the Buff defense, obviously early this year, having their problem stopping anybody, giving up 169 yards per game. That number will come down substantially.
2nd and 9 for Mizzou at its own 12-yard line. Handy complete to Holly. Woolfork there to stop him at the 15. A gain of 3. Woolfork, a unanimous Big 8 choice at linebacker last year, a Butkus Award candidate this year. Handy and the Missouri Tigers so far have gone the opposite way of Woolfork, which is what most teams are doing. Stay away from Ronnie. He can't make the tackle. But he did right there. Handy from the shotgun in 3rd and 5. Over the middle again. This is Smith. And he gets the first down up to the 27. John Knutson the stop.
And the short control passing game for Missouri, fairly effective here. They have not thrown the ball deep too much. The fullback allows the tight end to clear out the linebackers, and he just leaks to the middle, and good enough for the first down.
Smith from Chesterfield, Missouri. Most of these kids on Missouri are either from that state or from Texas. No Colorado kids on the Tigers team. First down from its own 27, Mizzou. Holly up to the 34. Linebacker Sam Rogers stops him. 5th catch for Holly today.
This is just Jeff Handy reading the coverage. Slot receiver runs deep. He reads, they drop back, so he hits Kenny Holly in the flat for about 7 yards. Holly, before he's done, we've told you, is going to be the leading receiver in the history of Missouri football.
Right now,
he'll catch Victor Bailey about, if he stays at this pace, in about a couple of games.
He's only 11 catches behind, counting today's stats. 2nd and 4 for Mizzou. This is Washington, the big fullback. Boy, it's tough to bring him down. 270 pounds. He gets across the 45. Greg Lindsey needed help before making the tackle. Boy, they rode him like he was a Brahma bull.
You see Colorado's first team defense still on the field, even with a 24-point lead, because they have things they need to work on. One of which is not to let 270-pound fullbacks turn their shoulders square once they break the line of scrimmage.
First down for Missouri at its own 46. 1:40 to go, third quarter. Washington again up to his own 49. Let's go down to the sideline and Mark McIntosh.
Thank you very much, Les. Just picking up on what you were talking about, most of the Missouri players from the state of Missouri. Back in the days when Missouri was a Big 8 power, it used to be a given that the Missouri Tigers would pretty much get all the best athletes out of the cities of Kansas City and St. Louis. But the past, decade or so, when Missouri's fortunes have kind of fallen to the wayside, they haven't gotten all those great athletes out of those two major cities in the state. They're going to other schools like Oklahoma and Notre Dame, and that's been one of the problems for the Tigers. They're not getting those good athletes back upstairs.
And Mark, you would know that too, wouldn't you? Because you were offered a scholarship to Missouri, weren't you?
Many years ago.
Handy incomplete. The intended receiver, Mike Jadlow. Dennis Collier with some very tight coverage there.
And again, Jeff Handy will see in films that had he thrown this ball earlier, Jadlow was open for a touchdown. I don't know if we can see the receiver on the left side of your screen, but right now he's got him. I guess Handy just didn't have a chance to see him. By the time he throws the ball, pretty good job on the corner by Dennis Collier. Defensive backs make up their ground when the ball is in the air. that's when the great ones can close that cushion.
Andy on the day, 15 for 25, 147 yards. Trying to add to that total on 3rd and 7. And there's a timeout on the field. Can't tell if one of the teams called it or if it's an official timeout.
I think Missouri called it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Andy will go to the sideline, talk it over with head coach Bob Stull. We'll keep it right here for you with 56 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. CU leading 27-3. You know, Gary Miller's Sports Extra is your best place for extra Broncos coverage. Be with us Sunday night for in-depth highlights and locker room interviews from the Packers game. We'll also go extra innings with a season wrap-up of the Rockies and an interview with manager Don Baylor. It's all on Gary Miller's Sports Extra, Sunday nights at 11:05 on News 4, your home for sports. I did that interview with Don Baylor that you'll see tomorrow night, and it was very insightful. Don had a lot of things to say, talked about what he enjoyed most about this inaugural Rockies season, what disappointed him most, and what to look for in the future. He talked about personnel changes and what he thinks he needs to make the Rockies a better team next year.
Well, they got things turned around after about, what was it, August 7th, I think?
Oh, they sure did. And to Baylor's credit, that team didn't lay down. They could have very easily after a 13-game losing streak, but they went on to have the 3rd best record in all of Major League Baseball over the last 2 months of the season. Right here we have a football game. CU leading Mizzou 27-3. Missouri with the ball at its own 49. It's 3rd and 7. Andy in the shotgun. He's got 3 wide receivers in the game. He goes over the middle to the tight end, Ofadale, and he's brought down at the 42. A first down for Mizzou. Dwayne Davis kept Ofadale from getting any further. The big tight end's 6th catch today. And he is big. He's 6'7", 260 pounds. And he's getting a lot of good advice from a great tight end, Kellen Winslow, who does radio work for the Missouri Football Network. Kellen Winslow, of course, one of the great tight ends of all time in NFL history with the San Diego Chargers. First down at the CU 42. This one to Smith. Knocked out of bounds at the 31. Ted Johnson knocked him. And Missouri chewing up yardage 10, 12 yards at a time here.
And they've done it basically with this misdirection pass. You see the guard gets out, gets enough of Sam Rogers, he can't be a factor, and here's the fullback out in the flat. They've thrown the ball underneath Colorado coverage for most of the afternoon.
And when you say misdirection, you mean they fake the ball going one way and they come back the other. And that usually freezes the linebackers and the defensive players. They're not sure which way to turn.
Jeff Handy is 17-27.
On first down, this is Tiger Boyd. A gain of 1. Matt Russell stops him. Clock winding down. We're about to hit the end of the 3rd quarter. And there it is. We'll change sides of the field, and we'll also take a break with CU leading 27-3.
The Timberline, a special breed of restaurant at Mile High Greyhound Park. The best seats in the house, the Timberline Clubhouse Restaurant. Dog days are here. Mile High Greyhound Park, 62nd and Colorado Boulevard.
They say to get ahead, it's not what you know, but who you know. Well, I do know this. If you want to get a great deal on a great car, you should get to know your Lincoln Mercury dealer.
At Comp Lincoln Mercury, you'll find Mercury Tracer priced at only $99.93. Tracer offers 5-passenger comfort and lots of features. With 85 to choose from, we've got one for you. Comp Lincoln Mercury, driven to satisfy since 1919.
Well, now you know. See your Denver Lincoln Mercury dealer.
See Comp Lincoln Mercury, Inglewood today.
Dear Midas, your mechanic gave me a free estimate and even pointed out that my brake pads were under warranty, saving me a lot. I was so thankful I bought them all up. Sarah Acco.
Today's game is brought to you by McDonald's, by your optics, by First Federal Bank, by Samsonite, by your Denver Front Range Dodge dealers, and by Miller Genuine Draft Light.
Les Shapiro and Dave Logan with you at Folsom Field as we enter the final quarter. The CU Buffs lead at 27-3. However, Missouri in CU territory at the 29-yard line. You can see from looking at the CU cheerleaders, it is cold here in Boulder. We're in the warm-ups.
Except those are the Missouri cheerleaders. We should accurately.
I saw black and white.
There's a lot of black and white out here, isn't there?
Yeah. Those are the primary colors of both teams. CU, of course, with gold also. Second and 9 for Mizzou. That pass complete to Holly. Turns it to the middle of the field and gets down to the 20-yard line. Chris Hudson, the tackle.
Well, that's a tough tackle. Colorado coming on a blitz that time. Handy reads it and dumps it to Holly, and that tackle's got to be made in the flat by Chris Hudson with no help.
You can see CU up till now dominating in every category but yards passing, where Missouri has a 7-yard lead there. But total yards, the Buffs have them almost doubled. Jeff Handy, a junior out of Blue Springs, Missouri, a business administration major. Right now he's trying to administrate a scoring drive. This is Washington. Finally falls down at the 18. Ted Johnson gave him the push. Boy, when he falls, you can feel the earth shake. 270-pound fullback.
Well, Missouri's not playing like a team that is 1-2-1, nor a team that's down 24 points, which I think is a credit to Bob Stoll. They have played, as you see right there, with enthusiasm. They have emotionally and mentally stayed in this game.
First down for the Tigers at the CU 18. Handy going for the corner of the end zone. The intended receiver, Brian Salee, incomplete. And down to the sidelines we go to Mark McIntosh.
Thank you, Les. Dave, you were talking about Bob Stoll. His team is giving a good effort here today. A lot of speculation in the Kansas City and St. Louis papers about his future at Missouri. A lot of people believe he'll be fired unless the Tigers make a drastic turnaround here in the second half of the season. But you talk to people within the Missouri football program, they say that's the last thing they want to see happen because they feel they have a lot of talent here. They don't really know why they're not winning more, but they think the talent's in place to have a good program. Back upstairs.
This is the 14th play of the Missouri drive. In the end zone, touchdown, Kenny Holly.
Well, it's a great throw by Jeff Handy. There's a guy that he likes to throw to. Holly on the right side of your screen just runs the seam post. You can see Handy's locked on him the whole way. And there's a case where Chris Hudson, I think, at free safety, a little bit flat. In the middle of the field, you can't have somebody behind you if you're the free safety.
Well, we have us a ball game once again. The extra point is good. It's 27-10, and there's a lot of time left. 13:42 in this final quarter. They're going for 2 points here. This is Washington. He's not going to make it, and a flag down on the field. There were flags in both corners of the end zone.
I think CU may have 12 men on the field.
looking. I'm only counting 11, but I could be wrong.
12.
12. You've got 12?
Illegal participation. Defense had 12 men on the field.
Take the old magic marker out and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's one too many.
Illegal participation on the defense. Half the distance. Repeat the try.
We heard you, Tom, and so did Bill McCartney. So head coaches tend to look at their defensive coordinators with a peculiar stare when you have 12 guys on an extra point.
You don't think they tried to sneak the extra man on the field?
I wouldn't think so. There's too many guys in black and white striped shirts to do that.
So Missouri now with the ball at the 1-yard line, going for the 2-point conversion. Passing the ball complete. That was Ofadale for 2 points. And we'll go to a break with CU leading 27-11.
Rise and shine. It's time for Breakfast Economics.
Equity, yield on the money you invest?
Nope. It's a good breakfast.
At a great price.
Breakfast extra value meal. One of any 4 sandwiches.
Hash brown and a small coffee.
$1.99. That sounds like a pretty good exchange rate.
McDonald's equals value.
Does this make any sense? Yeah.
Egg McMuffin, hash browns, and a small coffee.
$1.99. What you want is what you get. Get a lot, pay a little. It's Breakfast Economics. At McDonald's today.
What are you making a movie for the documentary?
Accidents happen. But in Dodge Caravan, much of what happens next is already planned. In a side impact, it's designed to distribute the energy through the door's high-strength steel beams, body infrastructure, even the floor. All cars must have dynamic side impact protection and 2 standard airbags by 1998. For your sake, we planned ahead. Dodge Caravan.
How do you order a Miller Genuine Draft Light, the coal-filtered light with smooth draft taste, in a pool hall? MGD Light? Say MGD Light and say no more. How do you order a Miller Genuine Draft Light, the coal-filtered light with smooth draft taste, at a singles bar?
Give me an MGD Light. Anyone have change for 20? We'll let him in here.
Say MGD Light and say no more.
13:42 to go in this ball game. Missouri just scored, and with a 2-point conversion, now down by just 16 points. And here it is.
2-point conversion, and again with trips, Missouri's been able to confuse Colorado defensively with movement to the double receiver side. You can see Chris Hudson upset, I think, with himself. There's a Fadele, the tight end, all alone.
Missouri and Kyle Pooler to kick off. The man back to receive it for CU is James Kidd, the real speedster. Kidd runs the 40-yard dash in 4.32 seconds. He is the fastest on this CU team. That kick goes out of bounds. Now CU has a choice to make. The Buffs can take it at the 35, or they can send Missouri back 5 yards and make them re-kick. That last scoring drive, very, very impressive. 18 plays to go 89 yards, and the Tigers chewed up 6:06 on the clock. Buffs decide to take the ball at their own 35.
Illegal procedure on the kicking team. Missouri's ball, 1st and 10 on the 35.
Well, I think he meant CU's ball, and the crowd's letting him know it. And it's Cordell Stewart still at quarterback for CU. The lone running back in the game right now, Rashawn Salam, and he gets it up to the 39, a gain of 4. Let's go down to the field. Mark McIntosh.
Thanks, Les. Just to finish that thought about Bob Stoll. Since the mid-'70s, when Dan Devine retired as Missouri's coach, they've gone through 4 different coaches. Nobody's really stuck around longer than 4 or 5 years. And some people close to the program think sooner or later you got to give a guy more than 4 or 5 years to make it work. And they think Stoll's done a pretty good job recruiting the last few years, and a lot of people think, hey, we got to give him more time, see if he can get this program back on the right track.
2nd and 6. Salam tries the middle. What an effort. Gets the first down and crosses the 45. And Dave, back to Mark's point about Bob Stoll, how would you like to be anybody on the Missouri sideline, and your athletic director, your boss, is Dan Devine, who had such great success coaching Missouri and Notre Dame? Pressure's got to be great.
That makes it tough. And, you know, I think Bob Stoll is a good coach. I don't know exactly as to what have been all the problems he's encountered the last couple of years. As you see the National League Championship Series score in Atlanta, the Phillies lead the Braves 2-0 in the 6th. But I kind of agree with what Mark said. I think you have to give the guy some more time. Otherwise, you start from ground level once again. They've been doing that seemingly for the last couple of decades.
Stewart throws across the field to Lepsis. And the Buffs are across midfield down to the Missouri 47. That is Lepsis' first catch of the year.
You see the offensive lineman congratulate him because he once was an offensive lineman.
Well, he's actually still listed on the depth chart as the left tackle behind starter Tony Berti. Plays 2 positions.
The big guys don't get many of their own to move out to a so-called skilled position, and therefore when one of their guys succeeds, hey, it's big news.
Buffs with 2nd and 3 in Missouri territory. Stewart on a design play takes it up the middle himself. Almost loses the ball. Keeps his feet and gets to the 20-yard line.
Tigers trying to rip the ball free, down 16 points. But the Cardinals sin, you got to make sure you tackle him, and then the next guy rip the ball free. It was Earl Brooks. You see, tries to tackle that football, but nobody is slowing down the progress of Cordell Stewart. He almost lost the ball, as you said.
27-yard run for the junior from Marrero, Louisiana. Marrero, quite a breeding ground for CU players. They've got 3 kids from that area. Salam goes to the outside. A flag is down. Salam into the end zone. Touchdown, CU. But again, a flag on the field. And the preliminary call is against CU, so we'll bring that ball back.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the flag, repeat first down.
So in college football, it is not 10 yards from the line of scrimmage as it is in the National Football League. It's 10 yards from the spot of the hold. You can see the hold is Derek West, number 72. That's who they called. Flag came from the right side of the screen, and Rashawn Salam has his touchdown run nullified.
Looks like he was grabbing his man's jersey from behind. And that'll bring up 1st and 22 for the Buffs. Penalties on the day. That was the 5th for CU. This is complete to Lepsis once again. Jerome Madison on the coverage. And that went for no gain. Jerome Madison, a junior out of Denison, Texas. A place you're very familiar with, aren't you? Denison,
yes,
Texas?
My mother's hometown. I was just there in May. It has not changed much.
You drove down there, didn't you?
Yeah. About 80 miles north of Dallas.
Some nice scenery as you went through Texas?
About 80 miles north of Dallas.
Cordell Stewart complete. This is Embry. He's inside the 20 and down at the 16. Call it the 15. Embry's 3rd catch on the day. He's 5 yards short of the first down, however.
Good pass protection. Embry on the left side. Starts across the middle, just cuts back out, and then at 240-plus pounds, tough to bring down.
Embry stepping it up with Christian Fourier out of the game. Fourier aggravated a groin injury he suffered earlier this week. So Embry getting most of the work at tight end along with Matt Lepsis. This is Salam. Gets nowhere on 3rd and 5. Andre White the stop. And the Buffs bring on the field goal team. The crowd wants them to go for it, go for the touchdown. CU's Bill McCartney playing it conservatively.
Well, but it's a 16-point lead, and you could give up 2 scores with 2 two-point conversions to get tied here. This 3-pointer takes you out of the reach of 2 scores and the possibility of getting tied at 27.
This is a 32-yard field goal attempt. And it's good. So CU hits the 30 mark. A 19-point lead over Missouri with 9:48 to go.
Isn't this fabulous? The girls at the club told me about it. I've been dying to see it. You'll grow into the payment. Let's call a metro broker.
And off the master bedroom is, of course, the master bathroom. Isn't that beautiful? Or it will be once you rip out that awful tile. On with the tour.
Honey, I'll call a metro broker.
Metro brokers understand that real estate isn't just property. It's people.
Performax from Pennzoil. New synthetic motor oil with Pennzoil's exclusive star molecule. Protects engine parts at ignition. Works like liquid ball bearings. Hangs tough during the most extreme driving conditions. Flows in severe cold. Performax from Pennzoil. Keeps its cool in extreme heat. Performax protects to the max.
Get protection to the max. Get Performax. Available at Target stores.
Good morning, Pearsonville Hubcaps. How are you this morning? If you need a hubcap, I have it.
At Bank One, we're doing whatever it takes to give you more choices in home equity loans and credit lines.
A 67 Mercury.
More choices in rates, terms, and repayment. So why do we offer so many choices in home equity?
You have to have a big assortment because you never know what they're going to call for next.
Bank One, whatever it takes.
It makes you feel good when you got something they need.
Les Shapiro and Dave Logan with you back at Folsom Field. CU just putting a field goal through the uprights to increase its lead to 30-11. And Mitch Berger getting ready to kick off. Back to receive for Missouri, Frank Jones and Clayton Baker. And this is Baker, 3 yards deep. Runs into his own man and then runs into 2 CU Buffs. Among them, Donnell Liamidi. That last scoring drive for CU, 8 plays, 55 yards. The key play, a Cordell Stewart 27-yard run. And almost 4 minutes taken off the clock. Berger's been perfect today. As far as field goals are concerned, he's 3 for 3. Right now, Missouri with the ball at its own 15. Jeff Handy, who's had a pretty good day throwing the ball, will probably go to the air again. This pass complete to Lou Shepard, his first catch of the day. The crowd thinks it was incomplete, that he trapped the ball on the artificial turf, but the officials think otherwise. And that's first down yardage for Missouri.
And Missouri's hurt Colorado with this play a couple of times. This receiver in the slot just runs a seam. Tough to tell if he got his hands under it. It looked like he did. Missouri's offense here in the second half actually has been better than the first half.
Well, and the key thing for Missouri today, they've only turned the ball over once. It's been a problem the first 4 games of the year for them. Handy over the middle again. Incomplete. In and out of the hands of the tight end Ofadale. There's a flag on the field back at the line of scrimmage. Now this will push Missouri back some. A holding call. .9:19 to go, final quarter.
On the offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
And Missouri now back at its own 18-yard line. It'll be 1st and 24. Once again looking short. I think he just threw that ball into the ground on purpose, and you're going to get a flag here.
Yeah, he did. It was a screen set up. He never could find the back. He threw it at the feet of Tim Alvarado, who, by the way, wears number 71. That's not going to make it.
Yeah, he's the left tackle. I don't think he was expecting the pass either.
Not unless you can catch it with the back of his heels. See, a screen pass is going to be set up on the left side.
24, number 24 was in the area. Receiver was in the area.
Well, 24 was in the area, but the only area was the same area code.
The officials put the flag back in their pocket. And there is no grounding call.
The back is nowhere near. 24 was halfway up to El Dorado Springs.
He was about 10 yards to the right of where that pass fell.
And you can read lips there.
Bill McCartney
he threw that ball in the ground. That's exactly what he did.
Bill, that's a great argument here, yeah.
This partially is because of what happened in the first half, the frustration. And that's not in the vicinity, folks.
There's
Smith. Threw that ball in the back of the left tackle's legs.
Smith was 24. He was a good 7 yards away from where that pass went down. 2nd and 24. Missouri at its own 18. A lot of time for Handy over the middle, wide open Ofadale. And he's at the 46-yard line. His 7th catch this afternoon. Dwayne Davis brought him down.
And again, the same play, a variation of the alignment, but the seam pass really has hurt Colorado. Pretty good pass protection, and Handy has time to spot Ofadale, and you can see right in the seam of the zone.
Big kid, 6'7", 260. Handy in the air again, another short pass. Ofadale again, and he's down to the CU 46. Boy, Cale Gundy in Oklahoma going to get a look at this game film. They're going to be chomping at the bit to come out throwing against CU next week.
And they play them in Norman, and Oklahoma obviously is a better football team than Missouri. So defensively, I think CU's made some strides in terms of taking away the running game as you look at Bob Stoll, but Missouri is not a great running team, and you're right, the Tigers have been able to throw the football effectively here in the second half.
2nd and 2 in CU territory. 8:14 to go. Ronnie Woolfolk. He was in there just after Handy got the snap, and that's Woolfolk's 2nd sack of the day.
And Matt Pierce, the left guard, has got to get out a little bit quicker. You see number 62 pull and go right, but he doesn't get out quite in time, and Woolfolk is all the way upfield. Atlanta, by the way, has come back at home and now lead the Phillies 5-2 in the 7th.
Ronnie Woolfolk, not a bad college career after coming to CU as a quarterback. Turns into one of the best linebackers in the nation. Should be a very high draft pick in the NFL. He is a senior. 3rd and 10 for Mizzou. At their own 46. Incomplete to Ofadale. He was wide open. The pass was low, and he couldn't hold on. And Mizzou will have to punt. .7:23 to go, final quarter. The Buffs lead it 30-11. Pooler to kick. And Charles Johnson to receive it. On the day, Pooler averaging 38 yards per punt. CJ calling for a fair catch at his own 14. And that's where the Buffs will start with it. Well, join us live on 4 Saturday, October 23rd, as the Buffs travel to Manhattan, Kansas to face the Kansas State Wildcats. This game will be seen in the Denver area on KTVD Channel 20. Dave, Mark, and I will be there to bring you all the play-by-play. It all starts at noon Mountain Time. Again, that's Saturday, October 23rd, and that game will be on KTVD Channel 20 in the Denver metro area. The Buffs and Cordell Stewart. Oh, excuse me. That's Vance Joseph in the game now for CU at quarterback. And on his first play from scrimmage, flags fly. It's a procedure penalty against the Buffs, so that'll send them back 5 yards. Vance Joseph, junior, out of Marrero, Louisiana, a business major. His business now is to get the Buffs 85 yards downfield. James Hill, stopped quickly by Andre White. Buffs content with running some time off the clock. We've got under 7 minutes to go.
Oklahoma leading Texas 10-3 at halftime. Kansas State looking for their 5th straight win, and Navy came back to beat Air Force.
Air Force up 10-0 at one point there. This is Hill again. Nothing up the middle. Loss of 1. Darrell Major threw him. Do you agree with the fact, CU, just running the time off, or is it a little too early to get conservative like this?
Well, you've got a 19-point lead. That 3 touchdowns Missouri would have to put on the board against that defense. How about that score? Michigan State leading Michigan 17-0 second quarter. So you just want to try to get out of this game as quickly as you can and not turn the football over deep in your own end.
Joseph, his first pass of the day, incomplete to T.J. Cunningham, right in his hands. That's 6 if he holds on. But instead of a touchdown, the Buffs will have to punt from deep in their own territory. In fact, Mitch Berger will be in the end zone as he lets this kick go.
Boy, for Vance Joseph coming off the bench after standing all afternoon, that was a great throw right on the button.
Berger 5 yards deep in his own end zone. Kenny Holly at midfield to receive it. Berger gets off a beaut. Pushes Holly back to his own 41. And that's about where he'll stay. And a flag on the field. A 50-yard punt by Mitch Berger. And a return of 1 yard by Kenny Holly.
This is going to be a clip, I believe.
It is against Missouri. And it'll send the Tigers back a few more yards. $15 more yards to be exact. So the Tigers will have the ball at their own 29.
The end of the run, first down.
Well, while there's a lull in the action, we'll take a break with CU leading 30-11.
The airport? It flies in the face of reason.
I guess I won't see Gene at the ribbon cutting.
Light rail?
Gene, light rail is Denver's future.
Our torn up streets, hey, the whole city is a mousetrap. What it does is very moving.
With everyone's support, it really flies.
Okay, ready? You want to buy something. Here's how to find it. The U.S. West Direct Yellow Pages. Or maybe you're in business. Good. Here's how you sell things. Let's clarify. You're a buyer again, and there's something you want. No, really want. Where do you look? Whoa, fast learner. Now, being that this is, in fact, the great U.S. of A., if you want to buy something, bet the farm somebody wants to sell it to you. And how do you find each other? Amazing. Where to buy, where to sell. U.S. West Direct.
It's like nothing you've ever seen before. It's the 94 Jeep and Eagle lineup. Drive into the future with special savings on Eagle Vision TSI. Or save up to $1,750 on Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo V8. Get legendary Wrangler for a price like this. Save over $1,100 on select Cherokee Sports with air at no charge. It's some of the most advanced thinking on the road, and it's at your Jeep and Eagle dealer today.
See your local Jeep and Eagle dealer.
Back at Folsom Field, 5:42 to go. Final quarter of play. CU leading it 30-11. Missouri with the ball. First down at its own 29. Jeff Handy, who set a single season record for passing yardage last year with Missouri. He's racked up some numbers today also. There's another short one. O'Fonnell up to the 37. A couple of yards short of the first down. Ted Johnson the coverage. That's what Mizzou's been doing all afternoon, and successfully. Again to the air. First down yardage. The tackle made by Darren Tadlot, the freshman redshirt out of Boulder High School. And the chains will move. Somewhere along the line here, Missouri's got to go deep. They want to get back in this. Chewing up a lot of time, even though they're completing a lot of passes. Here's Handy a little deeper. Over the middle, complete to Holly, down to the CU 39-yard line. Greg Lindsey, the tackle.
Well, it's a fine throw, and Holly, I think, may have twisted his ankle a bit.
Yeah, he's asking to come out of the game, and he does.
That's an excellent throw by Jeff Handy. That ball was in the air before Holly got into his in cut. He's getting a bit restless here.
Yeah, booing. What few fans are left. Although I wouldn't blame them for leaving. Game is well in hand, and it's very cold down there. Very cold up here. Thank goodness for these lights behind us. There's a timeout on the field. 4:49 to go. CU with a 30-11 lead. News 4 is proud to continue real-time closed captioning of all News 4 produced CU Buffs football games, as well as all Broncos games. This is in addition to real-time closed captioning on News 4 at 6 a.m., 5 p.m., 6:30 p.m., and News 4 tonight at 10 p.m. Let's go down to the sideline for a report from Mark McIntosh. Mark?
Thanks, Les. If Bob Stoll does not survive and is fired at Missouri, rumor has it one of the guys they might go after is former CU offensive coordinator and now Northwestern head coach Gary Barnett. Barnett played his collegiate football at Missouri. Back up to you guys.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. Gary Barnett doing a pretty good job at Northwestern University. The Wildcats certainly more competitive than they have been over the last 60, 70 years.
They're having a tough time today, though. Wisconsin leading Northwestern 53-14 in the fourth.
That pass complete to Salee. No, incomplete. No, complete. I saw the official waving it off. I guess he just wanted the clock to stop. Salee did get a foot in. And Missouri now down to the CU 11-yard line.
Jeff Handy can really throw the ball. He has been most impressive here in the second half.
Missouri threatening once again from the CU 11. Ofadale in for the touchdown. Greg Lindsey had a shot at him after the catch, but Ofadale is one big kid. Gets away from Lindsey and scores.
And with this kind of size and as cold as it is, unless you stick your head in front to make a tackle, you're not going to bring a guy down that's this big. Watch where Greg Lindsey's head goes when he makes his tackle. Goes behind him. That head's got to go in front if you have any shot to tackle him.
And Missouri's setting up to kick the extra point. Kyle Pooler. He's got it. And Colorado's lead now down to 12 points. If you're into this kind of thing, CU came into the ball game a 27.5-point favorite. However, if you're into the more meaningful statistics, CU will still get the win today, or at least it looks that way, with 4:39 to go in the ball game. Missouri still a couple of touchdowns behind. Well, 5 extraordinary days, a once-in-a-lifetime event. This official commemorative video of World Youth Day is now available at your Front Range Safeway stores, so stop by and pick up your copy now.
The tight end in the flat, the man coverage. Lindsey a little bit late getting there, and then with his head behind him, just can't hang on. 260-pound tight ends run through arm tackles. 6 plays, 71 yards in 63 seconds. Way too quick if you're Mike Hankiewicz, the defensive coordinator for the Buffs.
Missouri getting ready to kick off. James Kidd is back to receive it for the Buffs. Short kick. It gets by Kidd. That's the smart thing to do. Fall on it when you're having trouble holding on, and the Buffs have the ball at their own 4-yard line. James Kidd out of Elk Grove, California. He's a freshman redshirt. Phenomenal speed. Wants to be an astronaut. And he picked the right place to go to school. CU has sent 15 young people into the NASA program to become astronauts. Right now, CU needs an out-of-this-world drive to put some more points on the board. They're starting with the ball at their own 4-yard line. This is James Hill bouncing off the pack. And his forward progress is stopped at the 10-yard line. A gain of 5 yards. Andre White the stop.
James Hill really has not had much action except here in the second half, and in an attempt just to keep the ball on the ground, we have not been able to see what he can do.
Well, Bill McCartney sticking with the hot hands, and Rashawn Salam and Lamont Warren have really had great games running the ball. Not gaudy statistics, but they've been very hard to tackle today. Second and 5. This is Warren. He gets the first down across the 15. White again the tackle. You know, you've had a good rushing day when most of the tackles are being made by Mizzou's defensive backs.
And you'll see why right here. The power to left side, good block underneath by Chad Hammond. And Lamont Warren into the secondary without anybody getting a hand on it.
And Lamont Warren now with 112 yards rushing. We're getting into the gaudy territory there. First down from the 18. Warren again. Finally pulled down at the 27 by Javon Lenhart.
Very smooth when he runs and he glides. Just bounces back, gets back to the middle of the field, runs through an arm tackle. Andre White can't bring him down. Warren's had a good day.
Under 3 minutes to go. CU leading 30-18.
My.
And in the 8th inning in the National League Championship Series, Atlanta well ahead of Philadelphia, 9-2. Those Braves bats starting to boom.
Launching pad appropriately nicknamed.
This is Warren trying the outside. Oh, if he stays on his feet, he can get to midfield. Instead, a nice run and out of bounds at the 43. Lenhart, the rover, pushes him out. Dave, this is a position I haven't seen a whole lot of. Lenhart is a rover. What is a rover?
Rover's like a strong safety. Warren here, we've seen this all day. Look at the balance. Incredible job of just keeping his feet. Just like a strong safety, he roves to the tight end of the offense, to the strength of the offense.
So in actuality, Missouri is playing with 5 defensive backs and only 2 linebackers. Vance Joseph dumps it off to Lepsis. And he's down to the 35-yard line of Missouri. There's a flag on the field.
I think you may have offensive linemen downfield trying to block for Vance Joseph and then realizing, well, wait a minute, he's going to throw it.
Nice move by Joseph, regardless. You're right, Dave Logan. It'll go against CU.
Ineligible downfield on the offense. 5 yards, repeat first down.
That's tough for an offensive lineman because you turn around, your quarterback scrambles. Looks like he's going to run the ball, so you're heading downfield trying to help him, and all of a sudden he shot puts it 8 yards to a receiver.
So it's 1st and 15 for the Buffs at their own 38. Under 2:10 to go. James Hill up to the 44, a gain of 6. I don't know if you can hear the buzzing in the background. There's a small plane flying over the stadium with a banner that reads, "Pop-Tarts guy is here." I don't know
Are you
what
hungry?
that means. It's making me hungry, that's for sure. I'd like to see who that Pop-Tarts guy is.
Come on, defense!
I'd like to get paid for that free commercial, too. Vance Joseph. Wide open T.J. Cunningham drops it again. He's had a rough afternoon at wide receiver. Dropped the ball a few minutes ago that would have gone for a touchdown if he held on, and he was wide open. And now this. Well, here's some of the folks who have brought you the sights and sounds from Folsom Field today. Another great job, guys. You only missed 3 or 4 plays today. No, just kidding.
That was less, guys and ladies. I just want you to know that. Your mic won't work next time.
That's all right. I missed a couple myself. 3rd and 9. Joseph almost intercepted by Kevin McIntosh, the cornerback. And CU will have to punt. A minute 21 to go, final quarter. We have a new punter in the game for CU. Justin Blake is going to get some work. He's there instead of Mitch Berger. And I believe this will be Justin Blake's first college punt. And not a bad one. From the 12-yard line, Kenny Holly. Justin Blake with a 44-yard boot. News 4 is once again proud to join the Denver Broncos in sponsoring the 1993 SACM project. SACM's purpose is raising funds for essential health care services with Provident Health Partners. This year's donations go exclusively to Flight for Life emergency transport services. Flight for Life is available to all Coloradans in time of need. So pick up a pledge for them at any Gart Brothers or King Soopers or call 629-4446 for more information. Join News 4 and the Broncos and Sackham in 1993. We've raised almost $20,000 so far this season. Jeff Handy brought down by Sam Rogers. Gives Sam credit for a sack there. So he has 3.5 on the year. And Missouri takes a timeout with 1 minute to go in the game.
And when you're fighting for your life as a coach and you're trying to give some confidence to your team, even though you're down 12 points with a minute to go, you'd like to get another touchdown on the scoreboard and make this game look like it was much closer than it really was. Missouri leaves here down 30-25 at the gun. Bob Stoll can say, hey, we've made some strides. We've made some improvements. And in fact, in the second half, his club played pretty good football offensively.
Well, 30-18 against the 20th ranked team in the nation, CU, on CU's field. I guess you could call this a moral victory for the Tigers. Certainly should raise their morale after a tie against SMU last week and 2 devastating losses to West Virginia and Texas A&M the previous 2 weeks.
The tie to SMU in Columbia may have deepened the dagger. Well, that's one Missouri had to win.
And they had a chance with 15 seconds to go, but had a field goal blocked. Missouri with the ball, 2nd and 14 from its own 14. Handy still throwing. This ball is tipped and incomplete. Looked like Darius Holland got his hand on the ball, and he's getting congratulated. Boy, Handy had a game last year against Oklahoma State that was just unbelievable. Dave talked to you about it before. 43 passes completed.
What's even more unbelievable about that, he threw 73 times.
And today he's completed 28 passes in 41 attempts.
And he's throwing the ball well.
Throwing it again. Complete to Freeman, who stopped just before the 20-yard line. 48 seconds to go as the clock stops because Freeman went out of bounds. So CU opens the Big 8 season with a win, which ups the Buffs' record to 3-2 overall. Missouri will fall to 1-3-1. And if you joined us late, we gave you a final out of Tallahassee, Florida. Top-ranked Florida State beat Miami 28-10. Pooler's kick goes out of bounds as Blake Anderson tried to field it. Let's go one more time to the field and Mark McIntosh. Mark.
Thank you, Les. On that last Colorado punt, Justin Blake was in for his first collegiate punt. We found out, I talked to Mitch Berger over here, Mitch hurt his right knee, his kicking knee, when he was warming up for the second half. He says he can't get any power into his kickoffs, and it's hurting him on his punt, so that's why Justin Blake was in the ballgame. Berger will be looked at by the trainers after the ballgame. Back up to you guys.
Well, Berger does do punting duty and kickoff duty for the Buffs. If he can't make it, Justin Blake can also serve both roles. So you might see him against Oklahoma next week if Berger is not healthy. James Hill twists and turns his way into Missouri territory down to the 41. 35 seconds to go.
Hill doing a nice job here, just staying right in the hole. Good blocking up front. And then that little extra effort, the spin, and he gets carried for about 3 yards.
James Hill out of Whitefield High School in Colorado Springs. First down, clock ticking away. This is Hill again. The clock will tick some more. Inside the 40. And that could very well be the last play of the game. Yes, it is. Both sidelines empty to meet at midfield. Handshakes all around. Bill McCartney not exactly smiling. He'll take the win. He just thought his club would dominate a little more than it did today. McCartney talking with Bob Stull at midfield, and now it's off to the locker room. So the final, CU 30 and Missouri 18, and we'll try and capture Bill McCartney before he gets indoors. See what he has to say. Let's right now go down to the field and Mark McIntosh. Mark?
Thank you very much, Coach Bill McCartney. Your first victory in the Big 8, 30-18. Your thoughts?
Well, I'm glad to get a victory.
You wanted to come in. You wanted to see improved play out of your defense. Did you see that today?
Well, we did for about 2.5 quarters, and then we saw more of you know, just bleeding too many yards. But I think that we made some steps forward. We just got to keep getting better.
Personally, you tie Fred Folsom, 77 career victories.
Well, Fred probably wasn't here as many years as I've been here. But I mean, obviously, we got a lot of good players, so you ought to win games.
All right, congratulations.
All right, thanks.
Coach Bill McCartney now 1-0 in the Big 8. His 77th career victory ties him with Fred Folsom. Of course, Fred Folsom, they named the stadium after him. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Mark. Congratulations to Bill McCartney from everyone up here in the booth on tying Fred Folsom at the top of the CU coaching list. We're going to take a break, come back, wrap things up in Boulder.